I'm taking this so that I can go to bed early.
That's fine.
So I take this, then it'll make me sleepy.
Right.
This ain't for you.
He's just interested.
He's not for you. Want to snap?
Make sure I'm on the right Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay.
You don't like that?
Papoot de chet. Papoot de det. Not
Lay down.
All right. Open up that. We hear Discordo. Copy that, Lang. Are you for real right now, Sushi?
What happened? Give me that. Take this.
Ain't no way you grabbed that, you sushi
He
guy.
took it out of the trash. It was in the trash.
Well, apparently he piqued his interest. All right, there's that. Links have been sent. All right. All right. Wait, yeah, I gotta change chat to live chat so I can see everybody. Okay. I definitely didn't forget the P there. That's for darn sure. Special. Special D for special dink. How's everybody doing today? Biggest thing that bugs me about Project 64 is that, like, I can't click out of the window without the entire emulator pausing, which is incredibly annoying, but that's okay, I guess. Okay, thank goodness we're finally after the worst part. So I have actually been really excited to play this for the past few days. Just one of those things, like, I've not had time, but now I actually have time to, so let's freaking go. Alright. Oh wait, there's L to toggle mask. Oh crap, here we go. Let's go. Deku Link in this cutscene is crazy. For those who don't know, these masks are not typically an Ocarina of Time. They're from Majora's Mask, but this guy, who's incredibly skilled at modding, just ported them all over. And it's not just like a model swap, like it's their entire, like everything. Deku Link even has this special shield, which, you know, normal Link only has a normal shield. Basically all the things have their special move sets and everything. And even right now I don't have magic and I can't do the Goron spiky roll thing. Got Boomerang here. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you can hit B to immediately call back the things as Zora Link, but that's okay. Either way, I'm really excited about this mod. I've been wanting to play Ocarina of Time again. I just figured this was the perfect excuse. Right now we kind of still are on the boring part, but it'll get better. I was literally about to ask, are we gonna hit the boulder? We did. That's embarrassing. Kind of curious how tall Zora Link is in this area. I thought he'd be a lot taller. Because if you come here as Adult Link, using glitches or cheats, like, he is huge, it feels like, in comparison to the walls. Because Adult Link can't crawl, so there's no way that he'd be able to get in there normally. Also kind of curious how Zora Link would compare to these. I might just be able to hop up here, I don't know. No? Really? Can I do a skillful jump off of the top of this? Apparently not. Okay, that just sucked. I may as well just stick with the normal way. Come on, let's go. Zora Link? Dude. Dude. Okay. Alright, so that does not work. Hey, what's up, SLG? Zora form is Adult Link height? Oh. I guess that makes sense proportions-wise. but good to know. How you doing today, SLG? Hope you're doing well. Ignore me screwing this trick up. There we go, finally. Imagine if I would have fallen. That would be so actually bad. It would be so annoying. After all that, and then just fall. Let's freaking go to the Kokiri shop. Okay, so I was kind of thinking, I was like, should we go to 100% the game? Or should we just speedrun, kinda? I'm like, this is the time where it would matter. Because I'm also not sure, because, like, if we speedrun it, how much should I speedrun it too? Is, like, I guess what I'm confused about. But... oh, my bro, I gotta equip it. This guy. This freaking guy, dude. I'm so used to playing Majora's Mask with cheats, I almost just held down the A button to go really fast. I've just been so used to it lately. How's everybody doing today? Hope y'all are doing swell. Alright, let's Goron it up. See, I'm hoping that, like, we could find something interesting with some kind of, like, major sequence break with these guys or something. That's my hope, at least. That would be cool, but I don't know. Like, yeah, wait, could you imagine? It's as easy as this. Oh my gosh, it is. Holy crap. I was not expecting that at all. I suppose it makes sense, he's a heavy guy. Probably should go back up and get the slang shot, though. I was doing that more as a joke. I didn't think that was actually going to happen. I also just realized, why was the Zora mask not dimmed when I'm climbing the ladder? Or the vines? It's weird. Maybe I can climb these. I don't know. I'm doubtful. Even the special, like, opening cutscenes is crazy. And the sound effects. He really did go all out with this. Goron Link's not really good with jumping, so I should probably not try and jump off with him. I'm gonna need the stupid shield anyways for this part. Yeah, it's stupid. The way I see it, I'm like, for now, I guess we'll work towards 100%ing, although... I don't know, because I'm just trying to think, like, I do think glitches and skips could be a lot of fun. But I'm also like, where am I going to draw the line with that, too? Like, I wouldn't have minded, like, skipping up here. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to do for this, honestly. I probably should have planned it. I at least wanted to get the slang shot, so I don't have to worry about that later. Do Deku Link for the speed here. It's crazy how good he ported all these guys over. Can I do a gainer? Hold on. No, I don't think you can. At least not a sideways gainer. Might be able to do like a forward one. I don't know. Not gonna test that too much. Anyways. I've also been so used to streaming 3DS games now that I almost just tried to gyro aim. I was like moving the controller around. Let's use these boomerangs to our advantage here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Now I'm sure Zora Link can clear this. Hold on, that was bad. Bad example, bad example. Easy. And then now we just take out the Goron Link. Observe. Skadoosh. Oh. That's not exactly what I wanted. Ah, he's fine, I'm sure. I'm sure he's fine. I'm kind of curious now, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I wonder if I do the Zora Link glitch, if it'll work. Oh. Okay, don't do the Zora Link glitch. Apparently it just completely soft locks you. I can't even pause the game. Literally nothing is working now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do not do the glitch. Oh, man. I think the last time I saved was when we just put on the shield, so I think we're gonna have to do all of that temple again, which sucks, but whatever. I can speedrun it now that I know the path. The path that I must go. Just gotta roll over here. Doink, doink. I wonder if I could roll past this guy. Shut up, oh my god. Shut up, dude. Okay, I kinda wasn't sure if he was gonna let me pass, but he still did. Freaking Goron Link in this is pretty good. You guys do anything fun for New Year's? I was hanging out at my friend's house and It was a good time. She had her family over. It was fun. But there were a lot of our homies over. No? Hey, Beetle Dude. Didn't do anything for New Year's. That's upsetting. Whose family and whose homies? Mario Spacemans. He's right up against the wall. Hello. I'm unemployed and can't afford to go out and have fun. Oh, that sucks. SLG, I probably asked you this before, but what happened with your valet job? I think you did say. I just forgot, but... Did you quit, or did they fire you or something? Bro. I'm kind of curious, hold on. I wonder what'll happen if I do this. Okay, but what about... Oh yeah, I can't. I don't have magic yet. Shit. I'm gonna blow a bubble at him, but I can't even blow a bubble at him. See, I'm not gonna lie, that always confused me. He says in this dialogue, if you hold forward while falling off a ledge, then it'll stop you from getting hurt. And while that is true a decent amount of the time, sometimes it just straight up doesn't work. Like, at all. Which has always confused the heck out of me. My stream is in 144p, but it's my end, not yours. Oh, crap. I hope it adds to the effect. It's like more retro or something. A retro stream. Okay, okay. I think I figured it out in my head here. What I want to do for this stream, I want to do all dungeons, but doing them as quick as I can. Gaijin Goomba. Why did you just say Gaijin Goomba? But I am going to grab the Skulltulas here just so I can get the bigger wallet quicker. That's the only real reward that I'm worried about at the moment. I'm kind of scared to do this. I feel like we're going to get hurt. Yeah, like that. Do I know? Yeah, of course I know Gaijin Goomba. Wasn't he, like, problematic for something? Something happened with him? It's because I'm downloading a game. Oh, okay. I quit due to being harassed and no one did anything about it. As for a recent job, which is the same as the old one, different building and they pay better, I got spit on and assaulted. Oh my god. I'm sorry, SLG. That's fucked up. People just get too angry with that kind of thing. Like, dude... Get over it. I'm literally parking your car. And it's like, it's a service to help you, like... Dear God, I'm so sorry. I feel like everybody just takes too many things too seriously these days. Like, get over it. The only time you really should be in a rush is if somebody's, like, hurting. Or, like, has to go to a hospital. Other than that, it sucks. Yeah, but I don't know what. Woke mob. Yeah. The Gaijin Goomba woke mob. Now I'm kind of curious if I go over, like, on this side and do it. Nope, he's still... yeah. At least you don't take a heart of damage for that. And again, nobody did anything about it, so I haven't... Or... Hold on, my stupid internet thing is in the way. So I quit and haven't been the same since. I need to renew health insurance and I'm getting therapy, many sleepless nights. Yeah, I do not blame you, man. I'm sorry to hear that. It's like I said, like, people are just taking this shit way too seriously. It's like... There's no reason to be in that much of a fucking hurry. Well, SLG, though, I'm glad that you're out of there, at least. And also, I don't know how much this will help, but you gotta realize, like, that dude was just some jerk who's just kind of like... It was just a one-time fluke, you know? I mean, maybe not one time, but you know what I mean, like... It's not gonna happen again. Most likely. It was just some dude who's probably just having a bad day, in some kind of grumpy mood, just being an asshole for no reason. But also, I wouldn't blame you if you want to stay out of customer service after that, because, you know, customer service sucks, in general. Having to deal with anybody sucks, just in general. Is SLG64 a mod? Well, he's a moderator, but not like a mod for a game. Holy shit, I got the Goma quick kill. Can I be a mod if I donate 800 bucks? I mean, I would give you a mod for a lot less than 800 bucks. I feel. But you have to swear on the Lengthot oath. Swear on the Lengthot oath. It's something along the lines of only ban people for spam. Well, not spamming, but like if it's obviously a bot spam type thing. So $7.99. Yeah, exactly. You got it. I'm joking. I don't want mod till I'm the best chatter. Okay. Till you're number one. Chatter number one. I understand, but after dealing with this twice in the same type of job, honestly never applying for customer service jobs again. Rather be a night janitor at this point. They get paid really good. I do not blame you. Actually, I don't know if I ever told you guys the story. I worked at a cleaning company, but it was like a self-startup business kind of thing. When I was working at GameStop, this guy, he convinced me to take this janitor job with him. And at first he was applying for like an airport cleaning thing where it was like, oh, we were supposed to clean an airport. The whole thing is through this one company. It's like a franchise kind of thing, kind of like how you can like buy out a McDonald's and like do that. Except it was basically a janitor version where it's like, if, you know, people get a contract for you. I don't know how to say it, like, you kind of buy the brand, I guess, and you get somebody, it's like, there's different packages or whatever that you could get, I guess, and the more you pay, basically, the better cleaning jobs you can get. It was kind of a pyramid scheme in a lot of ways, but long story short, you sort of pay for the brand name and you can get like a good contract if you're the franchise owner. And like, oh, so they have to pay you however many $1,000 a month to clean their buildings or whatever. And, see, I think it would have been really good if I had owned the franchise, but the problem was that the guy wasn't paying me on time. And the thing is, we were cleaning 3 buildings. Now, I will say, the one building, we only cleaned once a week. Because it was like, it was literally a single break room, and so they were like, yeah, literally just like, clean the break room and the bathroom, and then that's all you need to do. So that one actually wasn't too bad. That one only took like maybe an hour at absolute most. In fact, they complained because we were cleaning it too fast. They said they were like, oh, well, we have you for an hour. You could find an hour's worth of work to do. But at the same time, it's like, you know, we scrub the toilets. We mop the floors. We sweep up everything. You know, like, there's only so much cleaning you can do. And so that was kind of annoying, but what was it? The other one was...
Fire station?
It was 2 fire stations, which the one fire station was another only one day a week, because it was like a conference room or something. I don't know. It was someplace where like little like meetings and stuff would be held. It was literally a single room. It was like just mop that and then do the bathroom, so that wasn't that bad. Another one was like an entire fire station, which that one was interesting. That one was pretty cool just by all the stuff that we saw. I think that one was only a couple nights a week, but the big one that we did every single night was, it was a Goddard school, which is basically just like a, what are those called? Kind of preschool type thing. And now that one I actually liked cleaning, because just seeing all like the stuff did make me nostalgic and like reminded me a lot of my childhood and stuff, so that was cool. But it was so much work. Like we would spend like close to 3 hours in this building straight, because it was like there were like 10 bathrooms, like I don't know, 10 to 15 rooms that we had to clean, and it was like sweep, mop, vacuum, and bathrooms was like the big things for that. And it was getting to a point where it was like I would leave at like 10 p.m. and I wouldn't be coming home. On a good day, I wouldn't come home till like 3 or 4 in the morning. But there was one time where we didn't even get home till like 7 or 8 in the morning after leaving at 10 p.m. Well, after starting at 10 p.m. I didn't get back home until like 7 to 8 in the morning. And then I had to get up and do it again the next day. And I was like, oh my fuck. Long story short, my girlfriend kept telling me, you're not going to like third shift. You're not going to like third shift.
Guess who was right?
And it did suck. It really sucked. It really did suck. He just, it was just like, I did the math, and he didn't pay me for like a month straight or so, roughly. And he only owed me like $1,000 or so. And so realistically, you work that out, that's like, what, $250 a week? And for staying out that late and the amount of work that I was putting in, like, yeah, sure, okay, maybe he would have given me a pay raise or given me something like that, but like, it just got to a point where it was like, it truly was not worth it for the amount of strain on me and my body and everything, like, just like everything. It was like, it was an insane amount of work for basically $250 a week. And on top of that, too, like I said, he kept coming up with excuses on to why he wasn't paying me, whether it was, oh, well, I had to buy more cleaning stuff for the company, or, oh, I had to pay this for a franchise license or something. I don't know. Like, he kept coming up with reasons as to why. And it just, like, the longer I was with it, the more I was like, I don't know. But thankfully, though, there was just one day where I really didn't feel like going in. Because it was like the day before I was sick, and I told him, like, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be coming in. I'm genuinely really sick. Like, I'm not coming in. And he tried to contact me and just be like, oh, will you at least clean this building with me? Or will you at least do this? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. And so I did feel a little bit bad. And then the next day, he was like texting me. He was like, yeah, you kind of screwed me over. I had to do all that. And then I was like, oh my God. And then, meanwhile, I'm like texting him like, dude, are you going to pay me? I'm not coming into work unless I'm getting paid. And then my girlfriend was like, listen, get paid and quit. And that's exactly what I did. I got paid and then I quit immediately. And I blocked him. Because it was just one of those things where it was like, I was just at my wit's end with it all. I was just like, I'm getting used here. And it was like everybody around me kept trying to warn me, but I kept trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I thought, he would always tell me like, oh, well, it's the start of the company, so it's going to be a little bit rough, but once I can afford to start hiring more people and we get more contracts, it's not going to be as hard. I'll be able to give you more raises and stuff. Like, it'll get better. And I truly believed him, but it got to the point where we were like 2 months in, and he hadn't even talked about hiring anybody else.
Well, because I also thought it was like you talked to him and then he was like, no, we're fine.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Anywho. Sorry, I'm gonna look at chat in a minute, I just have to get some money. Really quick side note here. My one friend, she was like, literally, anytime I like tune into your streams, you're literally just doing this. You're just jumping off the bridge over and over again. She's like, why are you doing that? I'm like, well, I need money. She's like, I don't get it. Why are you doing that? And I just thought it was funny. Because every single time, she's like, I would come in and you'd be on that damn bridge jumping off it repeatedly.
Who, Q?
Yeah.
I'm gonna text her, dude, get in his stream right now. He's doing some crazy ass shit.
Yeah, and then I'm jumping off the bridge. I guess I should go get this golden sculpture. Listen, like, society can be very cool towards men. It was either I fight back and defend myself, then HR comes along and uses this as leverage to fire me, or I make the decision to quit. Oh no, I'm sure they would have done that. My one manager, he said something pretty good to me. He's like, always try and cover your ass and do things by the book, because if somebody's trying to find a reason to fire you, then they will find a reason to fire you. Like, straight up, if somebody wants you gone, they will find a way to get you gone. Any small stupid rule that you're breaking or something, like, they will find so that they can get you out of there. So it's best to just cover your ass as best you can. And, like, in your case, that meant needing to quit, which is understandable. I don't blame you. Now, Link, don't feel bad. You were sick. He was fundamentally trying to guilt trip you. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I think I do feel bad in the sense of, like, he had to clean all those buildings without me. But that's the one thing I feel bad about. Like, the rest of it, I don't really care, because he definitely did screw me over. And he kept trying to make excuses as to why he wasn't paying me, and eventually it got to a point where it's like, I'm not going to work unless you're going to pay me. Like, I'm not a free worker. And on top of that, my parents were getting mad that I wasn't paying them rent. And I'm like, I'm not making any money.
The one time he's told you that he couldn't pay you because the company didn't give him enough money or something, and then the next day he came into work with brand new sports tires.
Oh yeah, wait. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that was another annoying thing. Like, that was one of the first times where I think I was like, I don't know. But even then, I think I still gave him the benefit of the doubt, because I was like, oh, well, he needed new tires for his car or whatever. Because he started doing a thing
and
where,
it was winter and he got sports tires.
Yeah, and then what was ironic about that was on Halloween night, it decided to, like, basically blizzard. And so, I was with my friends. We went trick-or-treating that night for funsies. And then what was it? Then I'm curious if I can break this rock with this now. I'm thinking you can. Ooh. I'm gonna see if I can do the glitch here. But yeah, so it decided to snow, and so I went into work. He gave me a ride to work. By the time we're done, it's like a blizzard outside, and we're like, ah, shit. And so he's like, okay, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I just got new tires, and we were slipping and sliding like crazy. And he wasn't stressed about it at all, which I won't lie, I actually do admire that about him, that, like, he did not give a fuck. But so we're slipping and sliding left and right, and there's this big, like, swervy hill, and I'm getting nervous because I'm like, we're gonna have to go down that big hill, and we're already sliding like crazy. Like, this is not gonna be good. And then, you know, sure enough, we're going down the hill, and his car just goes straight into the curb. Thankfully, it wasn't that bad, honestly. It was like just kind of a scrape, so screw this. So thankfully, it honestly wasn't that bad for what happened to his car. Like, he didn't pop one of his new tires or something, which could have been a lot worse, but yeah, so he ended up just kind of chilling, and we eventually made it back to my house, and I was like, oh, good luck. And so yeah, getting those sports tires, long story short, really bit him in the butt there. But it was also kind of funny looking back on it, like how you fucked up your car because you bought sports tires right before winter. But I guess, you know what? That also taught me a valuable lesson not to buy sports tires before winter. Or honestly, at this point, I don't even know if I ever will buy sports tires. I mean, I don't think I ever plan to, but like, especially not now. Especially not right before winter. Your story kind of reminds me of the time I had COVID and I had to be off work for a while. The boss had the nerve to call me weeks after saying he's annoyed and didn't have anyone else to cover me. Like, the fuck? No, exactly. It's like, companies love to guilt trip you when you're genuinely sick. Even my current work the other day, what was it? I don't even remember exactly, but I was like sick. Like, this was, I want to say around October or so.
Halloween.
And now, to an extent, I do feel bad because I did ask them for hours, and then like a week or two later, then I had to call off for like a week straight because I was genuinely super sick. But then they started trying to guilt trip me about it, being like, yeah, you know, we were disappointed in you for that, you know, you asked for more hours, and it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry that I was sick. And I came back the next day, and I was kind of just like, so you guys were mad because I was sick. And they're like, well, no, it's because you wanted more hours and you call off a bunch. It's like, because I was sick. Like, what? Gotta love that. Dress up for that guy's Halloween. I probably should. What's his name? Malin? Or Talon? He looks like Mario, whoever he is. I think that could be a funny Halloween costume. And Haley could be the other one who looks like Luigi. He's like all angry and grumpy. Wait, I just realized. I wonder how Goron Mask would do it. You could pull it out. I think so. I'm a hairy guy, I'm a big guy, you know? It works. Do you think they'll notice? Hey! Over here! You think they'll notice? Gotta be very sneaky. Funnily enough, actually, I've heard from a couple people that COVID actually... this one guy that I work with, he was telling us that happened to him at a place called Giant Eagle. And I guess it's more of an Ohio company, but basically it's just a grocery store and it has seafood, deli, and all that in it. But, sorry, I was trying to read the Chinese down there for a second. I apologize. I got off track. But yeah, no, basically same thing happened to him, funnily enough, that you mentioned that. He called off for like a week or two straight because he had COVID. Meanwhile, this was like in the like huge part of the pandemic when everything was going down, everything was crazy. And every literal doctor on the planet was saying, if you have COVID, do not go into work. Like, get a test, send in a picture of your boss, and he did. And then they were still like, yeah, but we're not going to take that, and they fired him over it. And he could have easily went straight to like HR or corporate or whatever, because also it is a union job. So he could have very easily got the job back, but he already kind of hated the job, low-key, and wanted out, and so this was sort of like, I don't want to say an easy way to be like, yeah, I'm done with it anyways. But it was sort of one of those jobs where it's like he didn't want to fight for, so, you know, why fight for it? I mean, it would have been funny to give the managers a middle finger, you know, absolutely, but, you know. Nah, they won't. It's the equivalent to wearing the stone mask Law looks. Exactly, they won't notice. Nishi Huan. Or Nizui Shi Huan. De Zhongguo Cai Shishima. Link the Hero of Time 550 will I need. Thank you. I also eye you as well, too. I'm pretty sure he said, what is your most favorite Chinese dish? I think that's what he said. And then he said that I love you. The Ocarina of Time. Yes, okay. I forgot how you say fried rice in Chinese, but fried rice for sure. But specifically, from this one restaurant in my hometown, which I can't say, but in my OG hometown, they make the absolute best fried rice. It is so freaking good. And they also make really good pork lo mein. Or beef lo mein? I don't remember which one is my favorite. I like both of them, but either way, they make really, really good fried rice and beef and pork lo mein. I'd say all of their food is actually pretty good, but like, those are my number 2 favorites, or my 2 favorites. Oh, Chow Fan, okay. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to like say it and then be wrong. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. My go-to is fried chicken wings with white rice. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Love me some American lo mein, honestly. On Christmas, we actually went to a Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet. And it was pretty good. But you could definitely tell they were overwhelmed. I did not think there would be that many people there, but I guess it makes sense because the whole, like, at the end of the Christmas Story movie, they just go to a Chinese restaurant. And, like, I could see a lot of, like, people in America just being like, I don't want to cook. Which is fair, I feel, but... Yeah, so we went to a Chinese restaurant on, I think it was Christmas Day. Not Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day. And, you could definitely tell they were overwhelmed. And, like... to the point where we actually went into the party room to eat because, like, they were filling up that too. And you could kind of tell, like, there's always somebody standing near you where it was like, they're just kind of like, are you gonna leave? Are you about to leave? And their lo mein, like, even my girlfriend was saying, she doesn't like Chinese food, but even she was saying, like, it didn't even look like the right color. Like, it seemed like they just, like, quickly threw it in a pan, cooked it till it was warm, and then that was it. Like, don't even let anything soak in or try. Oh, they even use the instruments, too. I just realized. In Yokohama, I had shumai pork dumplings at a traditional Chinese place. You gotta try it. That does sound really good. I remember my one friend, Ethan, he went to China for a little while for something, I forgot. And I gave him money and I was like, hey, hook me up with some Asian Zelda games. Like, whatever you can find, just hook me up with it. It'll be awesome. And so he got the Taiwanese version of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And, like, I don't know if the place just had a bunch of stuff or if they just gave it to anybody who did it, but, like, they gave him, like, 15 promotional items for me. And it was insane. And he's like, yeah, these are pretty cool. I forgot what it even came with. It was, like, a poster, some kind of, like, chopsticks or something, some kind of, like, flag to put on the wall. I don't remember. It was a bunch of really cool stuff. But it was kind of disappointing though, because as cool as it looked, and the cases are really cool, I put it into my Switch, and then it just loaded up my normal Breath of the Wild with my normal save file and all that. I was like, what? Because, you know, the Switch is supposed to be region free, not region locked. And apparently, to actually see like the Chinese text in the game, you just have to change the language, either of your Switch system or in the game settings, which was kind of upsetting, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, I mean, you know, what are you gonna get? But it was really cool though, either way, being able to see like the region differences and all that, and like the fact that they still had like promotional stuff for Breath of the Wild. Well, Tears of the Kingdom was out, which I believe that came out 2022. Was it 2022 or 2023? Either way. Whenever Tears of the Kingdom came out, like they still had stuff for Breath of the Wild. Just like chilling. But yeah, so I would say those are one of my cooler things in my collection. It's just like the Taiwanese versions of both those games. Really cool. Super happy with that. And like I said, just the fact that they still had promotional items for all that, like they just have those like lying around, you know. Lucas got my manager Japanese Link's Awakening. It was like $8. Holy crap. That is crazy. Oh, for Game Boy too. Holy, I just read the first half of that. I thought you meant the remake. That is insane. Dude, that's another thing, is that it's like, in America, it's like you have all these fucking like scalpers and shit, and all they want is to make a profit on everything. And then you go to Japan and it's like they're just selling games for like actual genuine normal prices. Maybe a little bit expensive, but like compared to American prices, like not even close. For most games. I mean, obviously, if there's like super rare limited edition games, of course, you know, they're gonna sell for a lot of money. I mean, everybody would do that, but it's just crazy to me, like, the region differences with that kind of stuff. Like, you can definitely tell that us in America are just, like, total jerks, whereas they actually, like, care and are nice people. Most Switch games are multi-language supported, so it's the same game no matter what region card version it is. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, it was kind of disappointing when I loaded it up and it was just the same old game. I was like, oh. Like, I expected theirs to be, like, Chinese. And I'd be over here trying to translate it and everything, but that definitely makes sense. I mean, like I said, when I changed the language, it was still cool, but I guess in a way it felt like less of a reason to get the different region versions when you could just change the region on your system. Because like I've always liked collecting Japanese versions of games, especially like N64 games, because I love the 64. But that was just one of those things where like it's like you put in a Japanese N64 game, you know, obviously it's different, but like you gotta take off the back of it to get it to fit in your American 64 or whatever, or put a region-free plastic thing in there. And either way, it's not that hard to region-free your N64 either way. And it was one of those things where it's like it's so cool to see the Japanese versions, and especially in Majora's Mask, there is a lot of differences in the Japanese version of Majora's Mask versus the American. And not even like little ones either. Like you go to the Deku Palace and there's like these grottos that you have to go through and sneak through that aren't even in the American version. But either way. Yeah, like I guess compared to the Japanese N64 games that I'll usually get, compared to like Japanese N64 games where you put it in and there's all these differences and it feels like a completely different game sometimes, then going to Switch and it's literally the exact same game and it's loading up in English. It's like, what? What? That every retro console secondhand gaming shop you could get in N64 for $20. Damn, that's crazy. Actually, when we went to in Cedar Point, there was a like a retro gaming convention thing, and we were looking for the cheapest N64 because mine, like, not too long ago kind of like hit the crapper. I think it just needs new capacitors, because I've tried every other fix that everybody said it would be, but it wasn't, so it's probably just new capacitors needed. Either way, we were looking for the cheapest N64 we could find, and even still, the cheapest was like, I think it was $65. And that was like the absolute cheapest, most bare bones. I think it did come with the power cords and a controller, but it was like just the system and a controller and the cords. Wish I had more more suitcase space to bring back cool stuff. Yeah, no, I agree. That would be sweet, but obviously understandable though that you don't want to be like coming back with 18 suitcases. I have a Chinese copy of Peach Showtime, European DK Returns, and Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and a Japanese Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Also, their economy is failing. Oh, I guess that'll do it too. I forgot, did I get that bottle? Yeah, I did. Okay, I don't have to worry about that now. We come back when it's nighttime to get more golden sculptures. They'll boot in English because multi-language support. No, that makes sense. Japanese and USA use the same standards, only difference is voltage and language. Makes sense, because nowadays everything is made to be more universal. Which I feel like is a good and bad thing. Like I said, like, it's nice in the sense of like, oh, if you're in Japan and the new Zelda game comes out and you just want to play it, and then you boot it up and now it's in this language you don't even understand. Like, I can understand if that's like your scenario, why that would be really good. But then there's the nerds like me who want to see it in a different language and see all the differences, and then it's like, oh, it's literally the exact same game, and it's loading in English, and it feels the exact same. Like, it's a little disappointing in a way, you know? Damn, man, should have reached out to me. I'd offer a decent discount. Heck, I have spare cap kits for 64 on me. Oh, really? I also didn't want to bug... Well, I think that was before I couldn't get a hold of you. I want to say that was before I couldn't get a hold of you. So I'm like, I don't know if I would have been able to contact you or not, because I know you had to switch Discords. But if I could, I also just kind of didn't want to bug you with it. I'm gonna be like, fix my system for me, Mr. SLG. Like I said, that's my guess, is that it was a capacitor, only because everybody online was saying, like, okay, try a new power cord. If that doesn't work, then maybe your thermal paste is dried out. So I bought completely new Noctua thermal paste. I went all out, you know, fancied it up, took apart the N64, dusted it off, cleaned everything to a T. Like, this is my childhood N64. So I was super careful, cleaned everything out like crazy, and then go to turn it back on. And I won't lie, it did run for a teeny bit longer. Just a little bit, just a teeny bit. But, and then it still crashed. Like, the problem is, it would load games just fine, but after like a couple minutes, it would just crash. Oh, I remember, the other thing was, somebody said it could be your expansion pack. And so I bought, or actually my girlfriend brought me a completely new expansion pack for 64. And I was hoping that was going to be it. But unfortunately that wasn't it. But I also did take the time when I was taking apart my 64 to take apart my expansion pack and re-thermal paste that as well. And that was interesting because it is a third-party expansion pack. It's made by Pelican, and not a single soul online had a tutorial on how to take it apart. So I was completely freeballing it, and I had realized that the only thing keeping it together in the middle, like keeping the expansion pack to the heatsink, was like 20-year-old dried up thermal paste. Because I was terrified. I didn't want to break it. Like, on top of that, like, my 64 doesn't work, and now my expansion pack doesn't work either. So I was terrified of breaking it, but I eventually shimmied one of those like guitar pick things up in there, and it just popped right off. And then, like I said, I took it off. I realized frickin' 20-year-old thermal paste is the only thing holding this on. It's the only thing holding it together. I'm like, holy crap, they put a lot of trust in that thermal paste. Or they mixed glue in there. Glue and thermal paste together is crazy. I don't actually think they did. I think it just dried out. Oh yeah, understandable. I don't mind, bro. It's a hobby I enjoy. Okay. Well, good to know, though. N64 uses thermal paste. Or, sorry. You're right, you're right. The expansion pack that I had was using thermal paste that dried up over time. But the N64 itself did use thermal pads, but I replaced it with thermal paste. So you are right about that. I'm sorry, that was an inconsistency. No, but I re-thermal pasted it and I threw out the thermal pads. I love putting thermal paste on my general. Yeah, you got to keep your temps cool and such. Sorry, thank you for the correction, SLG. That was my bad. That was actually, believe it or not, that was my first ever time dealing with thermal pads. Those things are weird. They're like Jello. Those are weird little things, I'll tell you. I used to have one of those Pelican expansion packs. I find them unreliable. That's what a lot of people online were saying, but mine has lasted me literally since I was a baby. Like, no joke, I've had this N64 since I was a little kid, and it didn't even go. The expansion pack wasn't even the reason that it didn't work. It's most likely because it was just a busted cap in my N64. Which, I don't know, to me is like insane that it's like, everybody online kept saying the Pelican expansion packs suck. But then meanwhile, mine has lasted me this long and it's been perfectly fine. I suppose I just got lucky, you know, obviously at the end of the day. But, I mean, the fact that it's still not even messed up is crazy to me. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? I should probably... No, I can't go up there yet because I need bombs. You gotta talk to Darmumia. Oh. That was definitely something. Bro. Yeah, man, capacitors go bad after 20 years for N64. You could have issues with power, no display, or no sound, or a combo of any of these. That's what I was saying, like, my situation was a little bit odd, I feel, because for my N64 not working, it was just... like, the games would play for a few minutes and then just crash. But it was also kind of random, like, sometimes they would crash earlier, sometimes they would crash later. It wasn't like a for sure, like... it would crash for sure every time at 5 minutes in or something. Like, it was always random. I don't know. I mean, I kept it because I'm like, one of these days I would like to fix it, then I'll have two 64s, you know. Like, eventually, whenever we get our own place, it'd be nice to have multiple N64s, that way I don't have to keep unhooking and rehooking it up, you know. It has to be that Pelican. But that's the thing, though, that's the thing. I specifically got another expansion pack. My girlfriend got me that other expansion pack. It was official Nintendo brand and everything. It was still in the box. I mean, it wasn't sealed in the box, but it was like original box and everything. When you used it, you had the exact problem. I believe you. I'm not saying that you're a liar or anything. I just, in my specific case, maybe it was the Pelican too, but even with another expansion pack, it still continued to crash at that same time. And that's the biggest reason why I don't think it was the Pelican. I do trust you. Like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm calling you a liar or anything. It's just, in my specific case, that's just how it was. How many do I have? I have 7. Could be the AC adapter. That's the other thing, though, because that's what a lot of people online were telling me, too. Bought a completely brand new AC adapter. Same thing. It didn't work. It still kept crashing. And it sounded like it was like, try a new expansion pack, try a new AC adapter, and if neither of those work, then it's probably just a bad cap in the 64. Or at least that's what I read online. I don't know. Usually when it's not seated properly, that could also cause an issue. That's true. I mean, it's possible either the power connector or the expansion pack could just be like, maybe there's too much dust or something down there. I could see that being an issue too. Either way, like I said, whenever I do end up getting it fixed, I will at least have two 64s out of it, so you know what, hey, I'd say that's a good deal. At the very least. Also, I really gotta be using Goron Link more. I can move so much faster with him. Oh my gosh, bro. I gotta not be informed to put this on. Doink, doink, doink. Yeah, let's save the consoles. No, I fully agree. Guys, I have to come clean about something I did. One time, I'm a Joy-Con collector. I like collecting Joy-Con colors. And I used to work at GameStop. And, what's it called? Oh, sorry. Beetle Dude sent me a picture of the dumplings he was talking about. Those look so freaking good, dude. Those look like somebody made them with love and care. Sorry, anyways, off topic. Yeah, no, what's it called? What was I just talking about a second ago? Something about saving the consoles. Oh, yeah. So, I collect Joy-Cons, and I got a, I ended up buying a pair. I worked at GameStop. Yes, I did. I will tell you about that. What's up, X? But I worked at GameStop for a little while, and we got in the Princess Peach Joy-Cons. And I don't know, I thought the pink Joy-Cons were cool. You know, there's not a whole lot of pink colors like that. So I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So I got the pink Joy-Cons. A couple months later, I see the pink Joy-Cons in, I think it was a Target or something, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is all... Or no, it was another GameStop. That's right. This was after I had quit GameStop. I was going to this other GameStop near me, and, I don't know how he Z-targeted through the walls like that. I don't have bombs, otherwise I'd do the trick. Nah, whatever. Sorry, anyways. Off topic here. I went to another GameStop and I saw the pink Joy-Cons, like, oh, these are cool, I don't have these. Meanwhile, I did have a pair sitting at home, I just didn't realize it. And so long story short, I got home, and my girlfriend kept telling me, hey, I think you have that pair already, I think you have that pair already. And I was like, I don't think I do. And I get home, and I'm looking around at all my Joy-Cons. What do you know, I pull out a pair of pinks. I'm like, crap! So now I have two pairs of pink Joy-Cons. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. So the next day rolls around, because I didn't want to go back out. I was already, you know, home, I was done for the day. So we go back out to the same GameStop, literally the next day, and I tell them, hey, I'm sorry, I bought these by mistake. I didn't realize I already had this color. This is my bad. And apparently in the short time that I quit GameStop and I was trying to return these, the return policy completely did a 180. And now, any hardware, no matter what, like, you couldn't return if it was opened. Which I think is the most stupid return policy of all time, in my opinion. Like, the fact that you can't return any hardware if it's been opened. Of course it's going to be opened! Oh no, I'm going to return it sealed, yeah. That's... Like, what would I do if it was broken, you know? So, I don't know, that was annoying. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And, so I devised an evil plan. Very evil. But, keep in mind, at the end of the day, I don't want to break anything. I have morals. Because I start thinking, I'm like, you know what, maybe I couldn't return it because there wasn't something wrong with it. And I think she even told me, like, oh yeah, if it was broken or something, then we could do something about it, but seeing as how it's not broken, we can't. Or something along those lines, I don't remember. She wasn't telling me to break it. I think she was just telling me, like, that's the new policy. It's like, oh, if you bought it and it was defective, then we can return it. But seeing as how you just bought it by mistake, there's nothing we could do. I'm like, okay. So like I said, we go to a completely different one, And lo and behold, guess who's fucking there? My old manager. Not even the one that I worked at either, because the one that I worked at closed. But who's there but my own manager? Okay, awesome. So I figured him of all people would understand. And I tell him, yeah, you know, I bought this and it was broken. Now, you know, flashback behind the scenes here. That same day that we got home from the GameStop and they said that we couldn't return them, I took out my iFixit ProTech toolkit, unplugged, what was it, like the R button on the one and like the control stick on the other. Didn't break it. For the record, I didn't break anything. I simply unplugged them. So I go there and I'm like, hey, you know, the thumbstick on this isn't working. The R button on the other one isn't working either. It's weird. I've never had Joy-Cons like come like this, but I just bought these. You can look at the date. And he's looking at the receipt. He's like, yeah, that's weird. And I thought he was going to test them in front of me. No, he trusted me for some reason. But either way, I had my ass covered. Like I said, I don't believe in breaking tech. That's evil. I would not do that. Because knowing GameStop, they would just completely throw it out. They wouldn't even attempt to fix it. So, like I said, like any rational person would do, I simply unplugged some connectors, and I figured, I'm like, you know, they can go see it, they can fix it. Because supposedly, when we would send defective stuff out, they would actually go and they would check it and, like, do tests, and supposedly there'd be somebody that would fix it. I don't know if there really was, but that's what they said. I simply told them it was broken. You know, I don't know what happened, and I got the refund on the Joy-Cons. All because I had bought the same color before. It was interesting, to say the least. It was a weird experience. Like I said, it was ironic, funnily enough, that my old manager was working at the store that I was trying to return them at. That I thought I'd be safe, but for that day in particular, I guess he was just in that city. Now I want to clarify. Well, okay, I'll just tell the tale of GameStop too while we're talking about GameStop. So, I started GameStop in February of... what year was that? February of 2021, I think? Or 2022, one of those two. And I was kind of like, you know, hey, if I'm still working when they release that new Zelda game, which at the time was Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, hey, if I'm still working and they release that, you know, hey, I'll get some cool GameStop memorabilia and all that. No, not that song. So yeah, I'm like, you know what? If I work and the new Zelda game comes out, I'll get, you know, whatever cool Zelda merch the employees get. And I'll admit, I did get some cool stuff. I got a, like an arm sleeve of his, messed up arm. His Raru arm. I got, like... You know, of course, when you work at GameStop, you can set stuff aside for yourself. You know, just put it in a drawer, forget about it, put it in the back, forget about it. So you can set whatever you want aside for yourself. And so I'm sure there were probably people that got screwed over by that, but, you know, it is what it is. It's GameStop. So, you know, I start there in February, sorry. I start there in February, and I ended up leaving in... what was that, October, I think? Or September? I think I left in September, so I didn't work there for very long. Only for a couple months. But, I don't know, it was an experience. Biggest reason why I wanted out of there... Well, funnily enough, that leads into my cleaning job story I was talking about earlier, because he was my other coworker from that job. The problem was, like, that job was like 30 to 40 minutes away from my house. It was, like, decently far from my house. And I was literally making, like, minimum wage, I think. Which, at the time, for us, was only, like, $10.80 or something like that. Per hour.
What story are you telling?
GameStop.
Oh.
And it was just... It definitely... It just was not enough money to make a living off of, especially when half of that paycheck is going into gas. Like, it was not worth it at all. And like I said, I also quit, ironically enough, for that cleaning job I was talking about earlier. But, yeah, so...
Who's all in?
Huh?
Who's, like, in the stream? I see X.
There's X, SLG,
Yeah.
Beetle Dude.
Uh-huh.
I think that's it in terms of people that are chatting.
Okay.
It says there's more viewers, but also, you know, they could just be silent.
Yeah. That's okay. We like the silent watchers. We love and support you.
So I really, honestly, okay, I think I actually wouldn't have hated working at GameStop if I worked like how my like coworkers worked. Because I was the person in that store doing legit everything. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, cocky, like, oh, I'm such a good hard worker or anything. I'm saying that as a fact. It is 82 degrees outside, and I was the hardest worker in that store. No, but straight up, it was like, you would come in, and you'd clock in on the computer, and they had this online thing where it was like, a bunch of like completely pointless tasks. Like, they would literally quiz you on random stuff, and it was so unbelievably pointless. And everything had a deadline, and had to be done by the end of the week or whatever, and it's like, oh my god. And there was, we called them counts, where it was like, it was basically just taking inventory of all the different areas in the store. And each week there would be a different count. Hey, what's up, Moon? How are you doing? Hope you're doing swell. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, so we had to do these counts at GameStop, and the biggest ones that made sense was we had to take count of all of our used systems and new systems. Which, that was fair. That actually made sense, I feel like, because it's like, those are the big important things. Obviously, we need to make sure they're not, you know, leaving. And it had to be done every single week. And those ones were fine. But then there was the random counts, where they would give you 2 or 3 randoms, and they had to be done once again by the end of the week. But it was like, sometimes it would be, oh, used PS5 games, or sometimes it would be, you know, controllers for PS5 or something like that. You know, it's like every week it was different, so, you know, it wasn't too bad. But I've pretty much seen all the counts in my couple months that I worked there. Because there was like the t-shirt count, like I said, you'd do new and used games for one system, and then there'd usually be some kind of hardware, whether it was headphones or just stupid plushies or t-shirts. Like, it was so pointless. Like I said, like, systems I could understand. Even games I could understand. Why do we need an exact count of every single Super Mario frickin' t-shirt we have? Like, that was insane. Hey, what's up, Golden Majora? Welcome. Hope you're doing swell. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I fixed PS5 and DualSense controllers, unlike GameStop. Yeah, no, because at GameStop, when we took in used stuff, all you have to do is test it to see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then you'd have to pull one off the shelf and charge the person for it. So that's why, if you're ever trading in a video game system at GameStop, make sure you give them all the cords, everything that would have came with it when it was brand new. Even, and I know it's stupid, even the charging cords for the controllers, because they will literally make you take it off the store shelves and charge the person for it. Because, like, in our store, one of the most common things everybody forgot to bring in, and I don't blame them, was the PS4 controller power cord. It's just a micro USB, but everybody would forget it. And guess what? The only one we sold was charged. It was like 13 frickin' bucks. Now, mind you, if you trade in a used PS4 at GameStop, at best, at absolute best, you're gonna get like anywhere from 50 to 75 bucks. Not nearly worth the value of the PS4, but you know, or at least at the time when I worked there. But yeah, so I actually didn't mind doing trade-ins because I liked cleaning the stuff, but the problem was when you're the person doing everything in the whole store, on top of that, now you have to deal with trade-ins too, kinda sucked. And there was also distro, which was basically just like all of the stuff that like you get sent like random boxes of just like merch to put in the stores, and sometimes it was plushies, other times it was new games, used games, etc., whatever. Let's go. You're better off on eBay, I'd say you're facing marketplace. Yeah, no, exactly. And it was just, distro wasn't that bad, honestly, but it would get to the point when it's like you you'd be getting Pokemon plushies for the past like 5 weeks, and you got to the point where your entire plushie shelf was full, and you open up that distro box, and you see like a mega-sized Pokemon plushie, and you're like, are we fucking for real right now? Because now you're like, where am I going to put this? And then that gets to the point where then you have to go into the back, bring out new shelves, bring out like the 12-foot step ladder, go up towards the ceiling, like mere inches away your head from the ceiling, and just freaking like put up new shelves, which I feel like, you know, as a general store associate is a little bit above your pay grade, but maybe that's just me. Put up completely new shelves to put these stupid Pokemon plushies that won't frickin' fit anymore. And now I'm not dissing Pokemon plushies, but when we haven't sold a single Pokemon plushie in like 3 weeks, and you're sending me 14, why are you still sending me Pokemon plushies?
Dude, at that point, I wouldn't even got the shelves out. I would have like somehow like rigged it up from the ceiling to make them look like they were hanging themselves. Because that's how it fit. That's how it would have felt getting all those boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Off topic, but man, I'd love a rando with logic based on these masks. I agree, that would be so cool.
I'm not trying to move you!
No, my shield! If only there was a conveniently placed shield somewhere. Should I go back for that now? No, I'll just go back in a minute. Anyways. But yeah, so all of these things on top of that, and keep in mind, every week they wanted you to sweep the floor, clean the windows. Actually, we did not have to mop the floor, which, now that I think about it...
wasn't it?
Well, part of our store was carpet, part of it was tile. I think it depends on your GameStop's layout and everything, but mine was a little bit weird, where we had carpet and floor, or carpet and tile. Either way, it was like they wanted you to dust everything, and now I know to a certain extent, maybe I am complaining a bit too much about this, because these are kind of basic necessities, but at the same time, it's like, why couldn't we have divvied it up? Like, oh, Billy does the mopping, or Sandy does the sweeping, you know, like, we could have divvied up all the jobs. But I put my theory to a test, because usually, when I first started, I would be a hard worker to, you know, show initiative and, like, make them not want to fire me, etc. So when I first started, that's what I was doing. I was, like, putting my back into it and everything, was doing all the counts, and also, honestly, it kind of just kept me busy, you know, keep me from being bored. Why not? But I think my coworkers definitely realized that and took advantage of it, because it got to the point where, like I said, I was doing literally everything in that store. And so what I started to do was, one week, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to do any counts. And come Thursday, it was Monday when I decided this. Come Thursday, I have like 5 emails, and at the time he was my assistant. Deity versus Dodongo. Oh my god, you're so right. I actually just said Dodongo, I'm sorry. Dodongo. But at the time he was my assistant manager, and he calls me and he's like, hey, I just want to make sure the counts are getting done. We don't have a single count done and it's Thursday. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll get right on that. And unfortunately I did, because I was like gullible and stupid. Oh my god. Alright. Because I don't have any magic, Deity versus Dodongo didn't do anything. If I had magic right now, oh, he'd be so dead. You know what? We're gonna save and go out. We're gonna save and go out. And we're gonna go get magic and then totally put him in his place. But yeah, so why don't you have magic? Oh, because technically you're supposed to get it after DC. They want you to use bombs, and you have to have Zelda's Lullaby to get magic. It's not like a crazy huge deal or anything. It's not like I'm going super far out of the way, but also, even with Goron Mask, even though you can break certain like bombable things, it doesn't work for like the little doors. I don't know what you call little hallways. I don't know what you call that. Like the walls that you're supposed to bomb. For some reason, it doesn't work on those. Anyways, though, sorry. So it got to a point where I was doing quite literally everything in the store, and I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't have minded that or wouldn't have Mound. You know what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't have cared that much even if I just had to do 75% of the work, even if I got 25 back, I would have still been happy with that. But it was literally to the point where if I didn't do something, then it wouldn't get done. And I even tested that one week because I did every single count but one. I did everything in the store but one. And yet they still hounded me saying, hey, are you going to get this done? Are you going to do that? I'm like, why should I? Like, tell me, why should I? There's people here on the weekend. Because that was another thing, is I only worked Mondays through Fridays. I like to keep my schedule like that usually, but yeah, no, it was like, dude, it's literally Thursday. You still have all the way up until Sunday to do this, and you want me to do it? Like, is it that hard to ask you to do a single count? Mind you, I don't even think it was like a really hard one, like the t-shirt count, because the t-shirt one was the worst one. That was factually like the worst count, because there's so many freaking t-shirts in GameStops. And on top of that, we had 4 like big boxes of t-shirts underneath our t-shirt rack. So you have to also go in there and scan them all. Now, technically okay. Technically for the counts, you don't need to go through everything. You could just type in the number. Because if you put in 0 for that, then the system would give you an error, like, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why is there 0 of everything? And then it would tell you the amounts that there should be, and then you just match up the numbers with what there should be with what there are. Although they always threaten, they're like, oh, well, you could get fired if you do that. And I pandered into that. I still did counts like normal, but I won't lie, there were a couple things, like, when it came to Pokemon cards, I totally fibbed. I was not counting every single pack of Pokemon cards. Especially because sometimes there were actually sometimes where I couldn't help it. Because, like, we'd have boxes that were street dated for, like, a week in advance, and you're not supposed to open those or do anything with those. So there were times when there were things that I genuinely couldn't even count. So, in all fairness, sometimes I actually was in the right for just cheating, but technically you're not supposed to do that. But like I said, I don't know, I didn't mind GameStop in the sense of even though I was doing literally everything in the store, it got to a point where I'd go in Monday, I would speed run all the counts, I would clean the store, and whatever I didn't do, I'd finish Tuesday. And then after that, the rest of the week that I was scheduled, I would just say screw it, and I would literally, like, I'd play on my Switch, I'd go on my phone, it didn't matter. Like, I was free the rest of the week. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're playing with power. Dude, that was crazy. The descent from that was insane. But one of the biggest reasons that I truly, truly dislike GameStop, as if all that wasn't bad enough, one of the reasons why I really, truly couldn't stand it, I feel, was because a lot of them, like a lot of the higher up, like, you could play on the clock, yeah. That was the one nice thing, is like, technically, as long as there wasn't customers in the store, you could do whatever you wanted. But if there's a customer in the store and you get caught, like whether it's by another employee or a camera or whatever, and you're on your phone or on your Switch or whatever, then technically you would get in trouble. And I have a stupid story about that. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I volunteered to go in on a Saturday or something. Like, it was a day that I normally would never work. And my shift was like, I think it was just starting. And like, I literally looked at my phone for a second to look at what time it was. And there was one of the stupid, oh my god, I hate him so much. I genuinely hate this guy. I genuinely hate this guy so much. He's from another store. From what I heard, he actually got demoted because he worked in an LA GameStop, and then he moved to the Ohio GameStop that I was working at. And in order to like transfer jobs, he had to get demoted for some reason, even though he was like a big... He wasn't a manager, but I think he was like really high up. Maybe he was a manager. Either way, long story short, he was a manager and he got demoted basically to my rank, or like an assistant manager. So it was like he took a bit of a pay cut, and also you know, now nobody has to listen to him. And he was so uppity all the time, and it made me so fucking pissed. And like I said, I'm here on a day where I'm not even supposed to be working. And you know what he does? He comes in, and he's buying a game, and I'm like I said, I literally take out my phone and look at the clock to see what time it is, make sure I'm not late or whatever. And I think I'd maybe sent one text to my girlfriend just saying like, hey, I'm here, and that was it. I get a complaint the next time I come in, and they say, hey, I need to talk to you. Hey, you were on your phone. There was another employee in the store, and I was like, oh my god, was it him? And it was. Dude. That dinosaur just got frickin' obliterated, holy crap. That was insane. But yeah, so they were mad at me because I was, quote, on my phone. And now the other chick that I was with, who never did anything, mind you, it was rare when I got to work with 2 people at once. For some reason, all the people on the weekends had 2 people, but not me. I don't know. That seems to be a trend with a lot of jobs. For some reason, I'm always alone. Which then doubles the work put on me, but you know, whatever, I guess. So, yeah, no, this chick, she was straight up on her phone, but I also got blamed, and I'm like, I looked at my phone for 2 seconds. And I explained that, like, I even apologized. I was even being nice about it. And he was like, yeah, just, you know, don't be on your phone. You know, I'm going to let you off with a warning. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, also, the girl that was on her phone was also the assistant your manager's best friend. That's why she didn't get in trouble.
Yeah, that's the, like, he probably gave her a slap on the wrist at best.
Well, yeah.
Because remember, so
well, remember that I wanted the job because you were like, oh, I can get you in, and I said,
yeah.
Okay, I need a job, sure. And he wouldn't hire me because we were dating or some shit. It was that bullshit excuse that every job uses.
Yeah, it was like, oh, well, if one of you calls off, then both of you's gonna call off, then we're out short 2 people, and it's like, oh my god.
But then he was like, and he was also like lying and saying like, oh, well, we don't need the people. Like, we don't need the people. And then next week, his best friend's working.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how convenient. She was probably one of my other most hated people there, because everybody else didn't really do anything, but she really didn't do it. Like, she was constantly on her phone while customers were in the store and stuff, and I'm like, at least when I'm playing on my Switch, I'll put that in sleep mode, you know, tuck it down under. I'll ask the customer, hey, can I help you find anything? You know, I'll try to be a good employee. She genuinely didn't do anything. Can you equip swap? If you equip swap Major Duty Mask, they intentionally made it usable. Hey, Sushi. Sushi. I have not done equip swap in a while, I'm not gonna lie. Or wait, are you talking about the one where you like do like that? Like we gotta do like... Or no, you put the cursor on what you want, and then... Something like that. It was like weird. Like you do that, and then like... I don't know. I can never get it. I always struggle with this glitch. Did I do it? No. I don't know. Equip swap works from either side, so you need to do it on sticks. Yeah. I don't know, I always struggle with this. It's like I've tried and tried and tried, but I can never get it. Ah well. We'll get to that at a later point. But no, I should explain, there was my assistant manager who... He was younger than me, which, honestly, I didn't really care about that. It was more so the fact that, like, he was basically the one, like, putting all the work onto me. It's like, dude, if you're going to be assistant manager, I don't know, maybe do the work, too. Don't just put it off on everybody else around you. Which, that bugged me about him, and then also the fact that he hired his best friend, but he wouldn't hire my girlfriend. It's like, okay.
And then
Obvious
and then
favoritism.
the friend did nothing.
Yeah, and the friend literally did nothing, whereas I know my girlfriend would have at least done something. Even if she slacked a little bit, she would have at least gotten what needed to be done. Why am I even doing this? I don't even need to be up here. But no, it was so annoying. And then, oh man. So it was him, and then there was my store manager, who was this really cool guy named Matt. And he was actually really cool. I have seen him actually do work despite being a manager. You know, despite the, what's it called? Not controversy, but like, despite popular belief, he was a manager and he actually did do work. I mean, I think I still did more work than him, but at the same time, he was actually a cool guy and he was actually genuinely nice. He was a homie for sure. So at the end of the day, he was actually fine, but then he ended up leaving. I forget what it was. If he, like, his wife had a baby, so I don't know if he was going on maternity leave or if he moved or something, but I don't remember. Like I said, he was actually one of the few cool ones at GameStop. And then above him was this fucking dude that I hate. Like I said, I'm not going to say his name, but his name started with an E, so we'll call him E, or Edward or something, I don't know. Either way, I frickin' hated Edward so frickin' much. Because he genuinely... He was so uppity. He was the one I was saying, he used to work in Las Vegas as a manager or something high up, and he got demoted because he had to move to Ohio. And so he took the demotion. I think he was mad about it, though, because he was basically down to my level or assistant manager. And so it was a big drop for him, and he couldn't tell everybody what to do anymore. And so the one time he comes into my store, and like I said, he's the one who ratted us out about being on the phone or whatever. The girl, I understand, me, I was literally checking the date. I was checking the time and sending one singular text. But the one time I had like 6, I don't remember how many it was. It was like a bunch of boxes of distro. Way more than we usually get. Like normally my store at most would get like 4. Eric, we know logic. No, it's actually not Eric. He had a weird name. He's a weird guy. But, no, he was so annoying because especially, he acted like he was so uppity, so much better than everyone around him. And then, he comes in the one day, and he's like, oh man, you look stressed, what's up? And I'm like, oh yeah, I just have like a bunch of boxes of distro. He's like, how many? I'm like, 6. And then he's like, that's it? I'm like, genuinely, I should have walked out that day. Because I don't even know why he was there. He was checking on something or doing something in the manager's office or some bullshit. I don't even remember why he was there, but I was so pissed off in that moment, I should have just left. Go home, work early day. But then I would have been the asshole for some reason. Either way. Hold on. Go, dude. Oh my god. Like, wrapped around the door and got stuck.
Is that what that was?
Ay, ay, ay. Cats. Anyway, sorry. No, bro, that would have aggroed me. No, it was so annoying, because he's like, only 6, and I'm like, only? And then he's just there, and I'm like, why are you even here? Like, what are you doing? Like, get out of my fucking store, dude. And then above him was, like, the big boss, who, I'll just say his name, because I don't know if it matters. His name was Jamal. And this dude was so fucking out of touch with, like, my position, it was insane. Because, like, he would always be like, okay, guys, make sure you're doing your distros or whatever, and blah, 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 make sure you're doing this, and the other thing. And it's like, yeah, I will, because I have to do fucking everything in my store. And it's like, they all, like, talked down to me so much, it was insane. And then the one time, it's like, I'm closing up, and apparently it was inventory night, which I didn't even know was a thing. So, like, there were 5 different managers in my store. And, I don't know. There were, like, 5 different managers in my store, and this dude came in, Or it was like one after the other. I was like, what the hell? And they're like, yeah, it's inventory now. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, I'm not staying late. I'm like, fuck you guys. No, but thankfully they did all that. But they're having me close down. And they asked me to do something. And, like, it was, like, the end of the night, and I was already just, like, stressed, especially with all these managers around me. Why am I forgetting what I'm doing? I was already stressed with all these managers around me. And then they asked me to do this thing, and they're like, oh, yeah, just put this or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And, like I said, I'm already frazzled just because there's all these people. Especially important people around me. And they're just, like, treating me like an absolute idiot. I'm like, oh my god. I was, like, embarrassed because I felt stupid. But looking back, I'm like, fuck those dudes. There's also this other guy, Mikkel, or Mysel. I don't know. I think his name was Mikkel. But it was spelled like Michael without the H. It was so weird. I didn't really have a lot of problems with him. It's just, I felt like it was based on vibes. I felt like he was just condescending. He didn't really do anything bad necessarily. I just didn't like him because he was already with like all the other jerks. It was just like the way he acted. And so what I ended up doing was, because I was done with everybody with that store, and I was tired of being like, tired of them talking to me like I'm a fucking idiot, like I'm like genuinely a dipshit, and it's like I'm always getting put down even though I'm literally the #1 person in our entire store. And the biggest reason why they always treated me like that, especially, was because, what was it? It was, I wasn't that great at getting pro membership sales or warranties, which they cared about more than doing everything in the store. They cared more about sales than actually, you know, doing your tasks in the store. But they never fired me because they knew that I was the only person doing all of the tasks in the store. And also, I asked people about the pro membership. I didn't not try to get... Oh, what do you need, silver? You know, Golden Majora, I didn't even think about that. You're 100% right. You know what? Let's just use it now. But yeah, no, so they cared more about me getting pro membership sales and warranties than, you know, actually being productive in the store, I guess. Which seems kind of ass backwards, but whatever. But like I said, they weren't going to fire me because I was the only person actually doing anything in that damn store. So they'd just like constantly be mad at me that, like, you know, I wasn't getting any sales, pretty much. Go pet the baby, he needs love. What are you talking about? Oh, Sushi. My cat. No, he just wanted out of the room. He was just being annoying. He's not the smartest, though. He literally, like, curled his entire body around the door as he's trying to leave. Like, he was that impatient, I guess. Anyways. This is why GameStop is going out of business. No, exactly. No such thing as a bad student, only a bad teacher. Yeah. It's like, if you're a bad student, that reflects poorly on the teacher. But yeah, no, it was so annoying to the point where I was like, you know what, fuck everybody. Fuck literally everybody at the store. Everybody's fucking wronging me. Everybody makes me feel like I'm an absolute dipshit. And I'm like, I know I'm not. I'm not gonna, I may not be the smartest person in the room, but I'm smarter than everyone else in the room with me. That didn't make any sense, but imagine it did. Either way, I got so tired of all the bullshit that they put me through, and I'm constantly being put down. So I decided, one day, I was really fed up with it all, waited for the last customer to leave. It was like an hour or two after my shift started, and I was just so done. They started pulling all their BS already. They started doing this thing where it was like, if you were an opener, then you had to... If you were an opener, then you had to go to these morning meetings, so you had to get there even earlier to do these stupid fucking morning meetings. And all the morning meetings were literal, like, they would talk about it instead of the email that they would send saying, hey, Spider-Man's coming out today, or hey, Zelda's coming out today. They would tell you, you know, oh, make a little shrine for this, do that, make sure you get your accounts done. It's like, oh my god. it's almost like I've been doing that for months. I've been literally doing all of that for months. Like, I don't need somebody to sit here and tell me about that for an hour straight in the morning. And then, I don't know why I equipped the Zor mask there. I never got a fish. I'm gonna, oh my gosh. And so, these stupid morning meetings sucked so bad. And I remember the one time I was literally trying to open the store because the morning meeting went over the time that it's supposed to go past. And so it's like literally the time that the store is trying to open. And so I'm counting all the money and everything, and they go, okay, camera's on, everybody. And I don't turn my camera on because I'm mid-counting money for like a second. And he's like, okay, Kevin, I don't see your camera. And I'm like, okay. So then I get on, and I'm counting money or whatever. I'm like half off the screen because, like, I don't know why. I just knew that if they saw me counting money on their end, somehow it was going to be my fault that their meeting was going over. So I just kind of like hiding off screen. They're like, okay, I need everybody to be looking at me while I'm talking. We are in a video call. I don't give a shit what you're telling me right now. I'm trying to open up the store. I genuinely could give less of a shit about you telling me I need to make a Spider-Man shrine.
Dude, I would have like put my eyeball to the camera.
No, genuinely, it was insane. And I'm like, I'm not in fucking 3rd grade. I don't need you to tell me what to do. I know what I need to do. I'm like, maybe the other GameStop idiots fucking need to be told what to do, but not me. I don't know. It was so infuriating. And so, like I said, one day I finally had enough of it. I was done with all the BS. So I got back at them. After all the bullshit that they put me through, after all the making me feel like, I know this is a bad word, I'm sorry, but after genuinely making me feel like a straight up retard, after all of the bullshit, I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. So, I had 2 people come by and help me. And we straight up, we did a little reorganizing of the store, let's just say. We, you know, we put shit everywhere, we mixed around stuff, we changed around price tags, we just had a field day. You know, of course, I've been doing all the work for all this time now, you know. Why not give them some work to do? So, you know, I gave everybody a little bit of work to do. I completely messed up the store. My one friend had the genius idea of putting up a sign that says, sorry, GameStop closed, Kevin quit, which I thought was really funny. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of shitting my pants because the guy who was the assistant manager, like I said, the big manager, he had to go on maternity leave or he moved or something, I don't remember. The actually cool one moved, so the assistant manager became the main manager. And that kind of led to, you know, of course it going to his head and like him never doing anything after that. But
the whole store closed because of him?
Yeah, no, he did not do a good job of keeping the store open. The store closed. I literally took the longest possible way to get here. This is embarrassing, but... So like I said, we reorganized the store. I leave them a note. And I name-dropped all of them that I hated. I'm like, screw you guys, I'm done, basically. Because I knew, I'm like, oh no, I'm never going to get to work at a GameStop again. Oh no, my minimum wage job. Oh god. Oh no. So I was so mad, and like I said, we destroyed that store. We didn't make it dirty, for the record. I'm not saying like we like splattered paint everywhere, we did something bad. We just did that, and kept the doors locked. There was one customer who I thought was a little bit angry, and I do kind of feel bad for them that they got involved in that, but also like, you know, I was like, fuck GameStop, dude. After all this, I was like, fuck it. You know what, this one customer, I'm sorry, they can deal with it. It was an unfortunate casualty, but a necessary one. But yeah, so like I said, we totally trashed the store and closed it up early. And I started counting all the money and stuff, and then my friends were like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm closing up. And they're like, you know you're quitting, right? Like, you don't have to do that. I was like, oh yeah. And so then I didn't leave like the safe or anything open, because that obviously that probably could have been bad. So I closed everything. I put everything back. And like I said, I knew my manager. He told me he was coming there to get a game or something later. I don't remember. And so I was like, I'll just let him figure this out. So that's what I did. And that's pretty much all of GameStop. Like I said, like, originally I started at a GameStop that was much closer to me, but I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was pretty desperate for a job, so I did tell them that I'd be willing to go out to this other store. And now there was another one that was closer to me, but for whatever reason I was being nice to the other guy and I let him have it. I probably should have just taken that one instead. Because I wouldn't have had to drive as far. Drive? I wouldn't have had to drive as far if I would have taken the other city that was closer to me. I mean, obviously, but might have even had a much better experience, honestly. But like I said, I wanted to be nice to the other guy that was applying at the same time as me. So yeah. Dude, I need their reaction to the mess. Such a missed opportunity. I know. Like, yeah, like, we swapped around everything in that store. Like, they would have genuinely taken them an entire day, I think, to, like, fix everything that we did. That was the biggest downside, is that we didn't get to see their reactions. But then, funnily enough, the cleaning company guy that I worked with right after, he found it funny, but he was like, dude, you know you could have gotten arrested for that, right? And I was like, for what? And he's like, oh, because, you know, you had your friends inside the store while the door was locked. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, the store is supposed to be open to the public right now. Like, it's not like I had my friends come in after close and, like, we robbed the store or something crazy like that. Like, no. We just... I had the door locked, and we rearranged the store. And he kept being like, I don't know, man. You're just lucky you didn't get any legal trouble. And I'm like, for what? People have done a lot worse when they quit their jobs. Like, I'm sure I could have done a hell of a lot worse. And that was just genuinely one of those things where I'm like... There were a couple times after all that I was like, did I go too far? Was that too fucked up? But then I just think about, like, all the bullshit I had to put up with and all the condescending, like, nature of everybody. And I'm like, you know, I could have been worse. I could have done worse. Like, imagine if, like, if we really wanted to be mean and, like, we brought in, like, paint and, like, doused the floors in paint and, like, brought in dirt and mud and stuff. Like, that we definitely most likely would have gotten in some kind of legal vandalism trouble. You know, that would have been too far. I mean, it would have been fitting, but it would have been way too far. Zoroform has shield. Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting about that, too. But no, yeah, I just remember I was so mad. And it was one of those things that, like, I kind of never looked back from, you know? I was like, yeah, they deserved it. I'm just gonna stick with the slingshot, that sucks. But no, yeah, those guys were just total jerks. Definitely deserved it. And, like I said, the way I see it, I had to do everybody else's job for them. It's their turn to do their job now. Whether they want to or not, they gotta. Sucks to be you. But I will say, I did leave little funny drawings, too. I forgot exactly what I said, but, like, I did little drawings of all the different, like... Best item for the room is choose. Is it actually? I did not know that. I always thought it would be slingshot, because that's usually just what I use. But no, unfortunately, I did draw little pictures of all the things we saw. Like, there was, like, a little FNAF, like, shrine that we did or whatever. There was a bunch of, like, funny references that we put in it. I don't remember half of them, because that was a long time ago now, but... It was a lot of fun, and... I forget what I said, but on the note, I wrote, like, Kevin's fuck you planogram, or some shit like that. Like, I did something really stupid. It was like... It was something really stupid and vulgar, but it was just, like, stupid. Oh, choose can kill him in the floor, okay. But it was like Kevin's, like, plan a fuck you gram or something like that. I don't remember. And I just, like, drew pictures of all the things that we messed up in the store. And I also want to make it clear that we didn't break anything either. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we, like, totally, like, destroyed everything in the store, or, like... No, we literally just moved stuff around just to make it inconvenient for everybody else that worked there. Oh, and then I forgot to mention one of the worst parts. Hi, Sydney. I forgot to mention one of the absolute worst parts. I unalphabetized every single game in all the drawers, and I swapped around like PS5s with Switch and like stuff like that, and like used Switch with new Switch. Oh my god, I forgot about that. That was insane. Like, that genuinely must have taken them like a week to figure all of that out, and I feel like if that store was still open, there still might have been some titles out of order because of all the havoc I caused.
You took the shirts off the hangers.
Oh yeah, I took shirts off the hangers. That was a funny one. No, it was genuinely like a feel-good moment. I was like, this is my chance to finally get back at all of you assholes. Like, fuck everybody. And at the time, like I said, the cleaning guy that I'd worked with, I actually tried to not do anything to screw him over because, like I said, I was about to start working with him right after I quit. So I was trying not to do anything that screwed him over, but I think he said that something I did screwed him over, and I did apologize. But now I don't feel bad because, like I said, he wasn't paying me on time.
He screwed you over.
Yeah, he screwed me over too, so, you know. Listen, one thing I will say, I may not be an angry person, I may not be somebody that's gonna, like, get mad. I'll give you a million times before I'm truly mad at you. But once I get mad, there is no limit to the pettiness that I bring. Anybody that knows me will know I will be petty till the cows come home, and then some. Like,
True.
I remember in school, what was it? People used to be like, "Oh, you can't annoy me. I can something. Well, I don't know, whatever." Like, people would be like, "You can't annoy me. I have a little brother. He's so annoying," and then I would proceed to like show how annoying I truly can be, just out of spite, like just to show them, like, yeah, you challenged me, and now I have to prove. I have to prove myself now. I'm the king of pettiness. And no matter what, nobody can top that. You may think you're the king of pettiness, then you meet me. Oh my god. So truly, you know, I'm not gonna be cringe and be like, oh, don't get on my bad side, but also at the same time, like, don't make me become petty with you, because if I become petty with you, you're gonna hate your life until you fix it. Jabu Jabu has malice-induced ringworm. That is a crazy sentence. Am I stupid? Where's the green one? Dude. What is wrong with me? I don't remember where the green one is. Is it in here? Is it the straight? I think it might just be in here. Now I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Hey, he actually healed me. Take that, fool. Yep, it was just this room. That's why I was so confused. I was like, what? But no, genuinely, I will be such a petty bitch. Do not tempt me. Like I said, I'll be nice to you. I would like to think I'm a fairly nice guy, but if you get on my bad side, I will be petty to the point where you'll literally start screaming and ripping your hair out. I will do anything and everything that will inconvenience you and screw you over. And it's not even out of hatred and malice. It's out of, I want you to apologize to me, and I will get an apology. So help me God, I will get something out of you. Or you'll just scream and rip your hair out. You know, something.
I like to think that I helped with that a lot.
What, my pettiness?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think a lot of that existed before you, but especially, like you threw it into maximum overdrive.
To get an apology and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Haley definitely helped me understand more, like, when people would walk all over me or, like, use me to get what they want, like, that type of shit. Like I said, I'm not trying to come across like, oh god, I'm such a nice guy, but, like, sometimes I can be too nice, and I don't understand when people are, like, taking advantage of me or, like, using me or something, you know? So it's like, I've learned, like, how to set boundaries better with that kind of stuff from her.
There was somebody in Among Us called, like, named Chick Hicks, like the green car in Cars.
Yeah.
And so I said, I was like, OMG, like, I love your name and outfit, that's so funny. And then guess what? I got banned from the room.
What?
I got banned from the room for combining an outfit and name.
Are you serious?
I'm being so dead ass.
That's insane. Can I just say, Among Us rooms, like, sometimes people go crazy with authority. Like, I know you've seen it millions of times. You've seen it more than I have, honestly. But, like, Among Us rooms, like, these days go crazy sometimes. Because usually people are fairly understanding and nice for the most part. But then you get those rooms where they say, okay, here's the room rules. Okay, guys, you're not allowed to cheat. You're not allowed to do wires. You're not allowed to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what are you, Hitler? Like, what is this, Nazi Germany? Like, what? Like, I'm trying to play a game of Among Us. I'm not trying to live under my parents' rules, you know? Like, chill out. Some people just, they get that little bit of power when they're the room host and they go insane. Can I also say that it took me a really long, almost embarrassing amount of time to realize that, like, you can catch up to him if you don't Z-target him. Way too long to figure that out. To be honest, there's still parts with this guy that I don't fully understand, but what I do know, that I do have a stick. You can kill this guy in one shot with a jump slash with a Deku stick. But the problem is also having a Deku stick, because that's not something most people tend to get, because it's kind of usually pointless. I mean, sure, it is the strongest way to attack as Young Link, but most normal people that play this game don't know that. Also, sticks break, so at least for me, when I was a kid, I always thought sticks were super pointless, because, like, why would I get a breakable sword? Like, that's stupid, I'll just use my sword. Because I didn't realize that the attack value was that much greater. Anyways. And there's the nuts. Probably should have ferried, or bottled that ferry, but whatever. I was supposed to go back into DC and get that shield. I forgot about that. Oopsies. Usually I try to kill that Octorok first, but if you're good, you can just sneak past him like that. I think it's funny, I actually had the most viewers this stream in the middle of that GameStop story. I'd like to think people were telling their friends, like, dude, this guy's going off on GameStop. I was just so done with their shit, honestly. And then it was like I worked at UPS and then GameStop and that cleaning company for like 2 months. And then I went to the Giant Eagle Deli. It was a good story. Okay, good. Thank you. And I went to Giant Eagle, and that was a whole can of worms, because I had worked with my mom during that time. Because, like, the deli and the seafood in my specific Giant Eagle that I had worked at were connected. In some Giant Eagles they are, but usually it's supposed to be the deli and the meat department. And then seafood is its own separate thing. But for some reason in ours, the meat department was its own thing. And they were the people that sold, like, steaks and stuff like that. And ribs and whatnot. Dude, why are they stalking me? So I've never had these guys this bad up here. This is insane. But yeah, so when I worked at Giant Eagle for a little while, I went through something similar and went out with a bang because I went to corporate. Dude, the YouTube emojis are insane. Those are so funny. But no, that's awesome. No, with Giant Eagle, like I said, I worked with my mom there, and I won't lie to you guys, my relationship with my mom is not the greatest. I'm not going to say too much about that, but basically, long story short, I worked with her, and everybody there would always be like, oh, your mom's so nice, she's such a nice person, and meanwhile, it's like, I know the side of her at home, I'm like, I don't know about that, but obviously not going to say that, but You know, it was just one of those things where it was so annoying because everybody would be like, your mom is such a nice person. Oh my God, she's so pleasant to be around. I'm like, yeah, when she's, you know, here and not at home. But that's not necessarily what made it miserable. I mean, that kind of was annoying, but that's like nothing. That's a drop of water in the bucket. Because it wasn't really that hard of a job, in all honesty. It's just there was so much stuff to clean, because we had 4 slicers to clean, and on top of that, you know, I liked my one coworker. She was really sassy and she was fun to be around, but realistically, looking back on it, she did not help out a lot. And I feel kind of bad saying that, because like I said, she was my homie. We were cool, we would talk about whatever, but she was kind of annoying when it came to, like, not helping out so much. Like, she would kind of only start to help out with customers when, like, the line would be longer than 3 people. Which, at that point, I'm, like, getting overwhelmed, and I'm like, I need some help here, please. But, no, she was an older lady, but like I said, she was pretty cool, she was just really sassy. But that's also what made her lovable. Purposely gonna get hit here so that way he gets up quicker. But I'm trying to think, what else was it? It was like that, and then my dad has really bad heart problems. Like, he, funnily enough, actually, sorry, I didn't even tell you this, he's in the hospital right now.
What?
He's in and out of the hospital so much to the point where it didn't even occur to me to say that. I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
But
You can still say something.
sorry, okay, listen, I forgot, I'm sorry, but even he was downplaying it this time. He's like, I should be out pretty soon. Because it was one of those things where it was like, he's starting to have chest pains, so he, like, just went. And, like, there's nothing they can really do right now until something actually starts to happen. But, my bad, sorry about that. So, my point being, though, is that
that could not have fallen more perfectly.
Did it go right into the trash?
Yep.
Of course.
Straight up, everything. No, but like straight up, it didn't spill.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so he has heart problems all the time. Like, genuinely to the point where it's like, it's not really surprising when he has to go to the hospital, because, like, he's had to go to the hospital, like, at least once or twice a year due to having, like, a heart attack or something close to a heart attack. So, yeah, pretty much long story short, he has lots of heart problems, and they're very bad, and they are genetic, so of course I'm going to have them, which is awesome. So I don't know, I'm trying to not be super unhealthy, but at the same time, like, you know, if I want McDonald's, I am getting McDonald's, which is not good, not a good mindset for a person with heart problems, but, you know, it is what it is. I at least cut out caffeine. I only drink pop on special occasions now. Otherwise, I don't drink any pop, any soda. I don't drink nothing. I only drink water. Okay, I guess alcohol too, but water and alcohol at worst. Like I said, I'll have pop on special occasions, or like if one day I'm really like, man, a Pepsi would go hard right now, I'll treat myself a little bit. I'll have a Pepsi, but like, I'm not going out of my way like I need Pepsi every day of my life, because that, believe it or not, pop actually is one of the worst things for my heart problems. Like, I was having, like, weird, like my heart would feel weird when I was at work. I'd get, like, winded or lightheaded. It was getting bad, so I was like, I definitely had to stop with pop and caffeine. Like, I definitely had to. And thankfully, once I cut that out, I kind of stopped having more, like, the chest pains and, like, heart palpitation type feelings and, like, heart murmurs. All that fun stuff. Either way, sorry. All this to say, my dad has lots of heart problems, and so I decided, the one day, he decided, let's put in a new toilet and a new sink in the bathroom. Great. So, my dad has this thing, like, I love him to death, but he has this thing where he'll turn an hour-long project into, like, a 5-hour-long project. So, he's like, yeah, let's put this in, and it's before I gotta go to work. And I keep looking at the clock, and it's getting closer and closer, and we don't even have the toilet on. We have the old toilet off. We don't even have the new toilet on. And so I'm just like, okay, this is not looking good. And so it's getting closer and closer to the time I gotta go to work. And so he left because I think he needed a part either from Home Depot or like in the garage or something. Either way, he wasn't in the house. So I had called off work because I was like, I don't care about losing this job if it means my dad's gonna live a little bit longer. You know, like he's gonna give himself a heart attack again doing this. So I'm like, you know, I'll call off if it means like my dad survives. There's billions of jobs out there. I'll figure something out. Worst case. You know, because I was new at the time. I had only worked there for like not even a full month. So like, if they're gonna fire me, whatever, I don't care that much. So he comes home, and my mom had called and asked, hey, what the hell's going on? Why'd you call off? And silly me forgot to delete that off the answering machine. Biggest mistake I could have made. Because why am I playing this game normal? I have masks. Sorry, I keep forgetting about these stupid things. They're not stupid, they're really cool actually, but... No, so my mom, she called and she's like, why did you call off work, huh? And so, my dad comes home, sees the message, and then I hear him hit play, he's like, oh, that's weird. Oh, mom called. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like tensing up, I'm like, oh, here we go. And he goes, why did you call off? And then I tell him, I'm like, you have heart problems. I'm not gonna let you die by putting in a toilet and sink on your own. And then he's like, no, you're going into work. And I was like, no, I'm not. It sucks to be you. Like, I'm not letting you die over this. Over a frickin' toilet and a sink. Like, you're gonna have to get over it. And then he yelled at me quite a bit. And we ended up getting the toilet on, and then he sent me to work anyways. And I genuinely didn't even want to go to work at that point. Like, it's the thing where, like, when you get done getting yelled at by your parents, and, like, you just, like, feel the need to cry, but you're also like, I don't want to cry right now, I gotta go into work. You know, I mean, I hope that you actually don't know what that feels like, but, you know, I feel like that's a semi-relatable thing. Either way, so I was like, oh, so that ruined my day, that's fun. But thankfully, I don't know if my coworkers noticed something was off with me, or like, what, but they had me on pretzel trays, which was like one of my favorite things to do. Literally, you counted out like, I think it was like 44 pretzels or something, and it was like you put all them on a tray, like they were like little pretzel balls, and you just put those on a tray and then put a nacho cheese thing in the middle and then close it up. And so they just kind of put me on that. They were like, oh, just make a couple trays. And like, meanwhile, I'm over there like, 1, 2, 3. I can laugh about it now. The trauma's over, obviously. I can laugh about it, but I just remember it's funny looking back on it. But like, no, it was one of those things that was like, it sucked so bad. And so that was one of the things that made me like, that was pretty rude of them. And then it was around Christmas time. It was a little bit after Christmas. Actually, it was the night after Christmas. We had our whole family Christmas, and I was cleaning up and everything. And I don't know why, but I was like sidestepping, or like, I don't know, I guess like galloping. I know that sounds stupid to say. But I was like sidestepping while like cleaning the table off. And I was cleaning really fast. And I fell on my side. And this is genuinely one of the only times in my life that I had to like sit there for a minute. Like usually, if I've ever gotten hurt, I usually just get right back up. Like I'm usually fairly resilient when it comes to that. Like even if I'm in a lot of pain, I'll always get back up. I fucking hit the ground hard. Like I went straight down. Like there was no like, oh, any kind of padding. Like I fell straight on my side. And it hurt so fucking bad that like I got up and like it felt like my whole side was like stiff. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't get up. Maybe I shouldn't get up. And I was like, oh, fuck. And it really, it was not a good feeling. Flash forward, it's like, the pain's only getting worse. I figure every time I get hurt, I didn't even grab the Ocarina of Time. What is wrong with me? It's literally the name of the freaking game. I didn't even grab it. Oh my gosh. Literally didn't even grab it. The name of the game, and I didn't even grab it.
Embarrassing.
Anywho. So yeah, so like I said, usually anytime I get hurt, as with most things, when you're hurt, you just kind of deal with it, and then eventually it gets better. That's usually how it works, or at least how it always has worked for me, so I figured that's how it's going to work again. But the pain's getting worse, and it's getting a lot worse. And so I was over at my friend's house, and it was the weekend, and we had some drinks, so, I already wasn't feeling good because I woke up with a little bit of a hangover, but I can handle a hangover. I've had a bunch before. I can deal with that. It's not the end of the world. Does it want me to use the Zora mask or something? So I was like, whatever. That honestly wasn't that big of a deal. Like, even the hangover was not that bad. Straight up, it was not. But what really sucked was my side hurt unbelievably bad. And now keep in mind, this was New Year's Eve now, I believe. Yes, it was New Year's Eve. So it was also probably going to be a pretty busy day at work. And like I said, I even worked with this whatever side injury I had. And it sucked, and it was only getting worse. And like I said, it's New Year's Eve, and genuinely it hurts so bad. It's to the point where, like, I feel like an old man every time I sit up, or, like, lay down, or, like, sit down. Or even anytime I twist my body. Like, either way, doing almost anything put me in excruciating pain. And so I get to the point where I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can go in. I think I need to call off. And I already knew it was going to start some shit, because the last time I tried to call off with the whole, toilet and sink thing, after how bad I got yelled at, I was like, great. I was like, because I already know there have been so many things with this Giant Eagle job where they already went, like, clinically insane at me over something that, like, I've done a bajillion times at other jobs, and every single time it's fine. Like, but now that I'm working with my mom, I guess it was different. I don't know. So, I call off. A couple minutes later, I get a call from my parents, as expected. And I pick up, I'm like, whatever, I'll just get this over with. And then, that's when my dad, he sat there and was like, oh, you're providing nothing for the family, we're gonna kick you out or something, or blah, 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 I don't know. He was going on this long tangent about, like, how basically I suck and, like, whatever, like, I'm not contributing anything to the family. I'm like, oh my god. And so then I hang up, and I'm just like, well, that's a good start. That's a wonderful start to the new year. And then I get home, and then my mom's like, I get home the next day, because it's after the new year now, and I think they think that I just wanted to party with my friends. And now, well, that's not entirely wrong. I was even, like, telling them, I was like, I gotta go to work, and they're like, don't go in if you're in that much pain. And I was like, I am, but, like, it was one of those things where they were like, oh, don't go in. And I was like, I need to. And eventually, like, with enough prying, they got me to. But it was like, even I wanted to go in, and then my parents, I get home, and then my mom's like, I had to stay an extra hour or two because of you. And it's like, you're in seafood department. You did not have to stay an extra hour or two because of me. I'm like, you chose to do that. Like, okay, maybe this is just me, but another thing that I don't understand is when you call off, and then your coworkers are mad at you, they're like, yeah, I had to cover your shift, and it's like, well, did they make you? And they're like, no, they just asked me. It's like, okay, well then you didn't have to cover my shift. Like, you chose to come in and make money then. And I understand some people feel differently about that, and I can get that, but it seems ridiculous to me to say, I had to cover your shift. It's like, well, it sounds to me like they were giving you an option, yes or no, and you said yes. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but that's one of the things that's always weird to me. It's like, you did not have to cut. You could have just told them, no, I'm sorry. Even if you came up with an excuse, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm walking my dog today or something. I don't know. It's like, you always have that choice. But, so, yeah, like I said, after that was kind of my last straw, and that was, honestly, the entire Giant Eagle experience is kind of what made me want to leave my house in general. Because I don't know if I ever said this, but I ended up moving out to Haley's house, my girlfriend's house. Because things were just getting, like, tensions were raising. It was just a bad environment to be in, like, for sure, all around. So I moved out to her house, mostly because of this, but let's get to quitting Giant Eagle, because that was fun. So I already knew I was going to have to put in my 2 weeks. I mean, I usually like to try to put in 2 weeks anytime I can, because, you know, it's a nice thing to do. But then there have been jobs where I haven't, i.e. GameStop, because, you know, they screwed me over. Why should I give them 2 weeks? Fuck you guys, you know. But like I said, on jobs that I actually like, or at least want to end on good terms, that's things where it's like, yeah, like I gotta
go!
Yeah, gotta get the heck out of there. So for Giant Eagle, I'm like, of course, you know, unless I want to get screamed at by my parents for a third time now, I should probably put in my 2 weeks. So of course I did, and it becomes a literal hellscape. Like, I have the one coworker of mine who's like, she's younger, she's like around my age, and she literally was like acting so immature. She's literally throwing boxes at me to the point where like she was hitting me with like the corners of them, and I literally yelled at her, "Can you stop?" And then she ran off like genuinely like a 3-year-old, like having a hissy fit. She literally ran off, and I was like, okay, good. I don't fucking need your help anyways. You're not helping me that much here anyways. You're just throwing boxes at me, throwing a hissy fit. Like, oh my god. And she was just being a jerk about it, and then I had to deal with my mom telling me that, like, oh, I'm betraying her or something, blah blah, whatever BS. And then what was it? Oh, my mom was also mad at me because apparently it's really funny, honestly, the more I think about it. My sister worked at Giant Eagle, but she ended up leaving. I don't remember if it was just because she quit or if it was because she was having health problems. I don't remember.
She's having health problems.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So she had to leave because she was having health problems, and she was like a month or a couple days away from, like, she put in my mom as a referral because she works at Giant Eagle, so she was like, she put in my mom as a referral, and it was like, you had to be there like 3 months or something straight, or something, 3 or 4 months straight, I don't remember what it was, but she was really close, then she quit last minute, so my mom didn't get the bonus that she was supposed to for being a referral, so she was really mad at my sister about that, because she kind of only cares about money. So she was mad at my sister about that, even though she left for genuine health problems. And then, like I said, I put in my 2 weeks, and she's like, oh, I was only a month away from having your bonus that you were going to get me too. You couldn't have just stuck it out another month? Honestly, no. After everything I was put through, no. The only coworker that was actually cool was the older lady I was talking about earlier. She was still cool, and that's why she was kind of my homie for a while. But then, I don't know, I guess with enough talking with my mom after I left, then she started to hate me too, it seems like. I don't know if I'd say hate, but she was like mad that I left. Because I'm like, everybody else around her there, like, because I had like 3 other coworkers, and they were all basically like, you're screwing us over, and it's like, because I'm quitting a job? Like, that was genuinely one of the worst experiences I think I've ever had leaving a job. And truthfully, it made me almost feel like, why did I even put in my 2 weeks? Why didn't I just leave? Then I wouldn't have had to deal with all this bullshit from everybody around me. I mean, I know why I didn't, because I would have had to deal with it from my parents, but, you know. So like I said, that was the tale of Giant Eagle. Honestly, the job itself wasn't awful. It was just, there was just so much to do all the time. There was so much cleaning, and I now work at a drugstore deli, and there's only 2 slicers to clean instead of 4, and there's not nearly as many dishes to do most of the time, and you just get to make stuff and have fun. It's overall a lot better. I don't have to worry about working with either of my parents, so I'm not going to be, like, put down or, like, anything. And even though we did move out to my girlfriend's, which is further from that job, it's still a good job, and I still like it. And sometimes the managers can kind of suck, but overall, they're usually pretty cool. And they've definitely looked out for us a lot, and they've been homies. So, like I said, they can have times where they can be a bit moody, but we still love them at the end of the day. No, don't feel bad at all. I never do 2-week notice for any job that's treating me poorly. They don't deserve it. No, for sure. That's my thing, is that it wasn't necessarily the job itself. It was just more how everybody was, like, acting to me, I guess.
You should tell a story of how we moved out.
Oh, yeah, so...
Like, how we did it and stuff.
Yeah, so, you know, after I'm at the drugstore I'm at for a little while, my girlfriend goes, hey, I think you should move out. It's doing a lot, your parents are doing a lot to your mental health, like, we need to get you out of here. And I'm like, yeah, but because I'm very much set in my ways. Once I'm, like, stuck doing something, it's weird, like, it's hard to get me to change. And so, she's just like, I think we could move out by summer. And I'm like, summer? That's in, like, a month. Or it was either a month or two. Either way, I was like, we did not have a lot of time to move out, so it was like, you think I can move everything out of my room and everything that I own in this house out in a month? She's like, yes. So we started collecting up boxes from our job, because our job was cool about that. They actually let us take boxes for the move, so that was very useful. My girlfriend's mom got us a storage unit to put stuff temporarily, and that took us about a year to fully get rid of, but we did. We ended up getting rid of the storage unit. That was nice. Didn't mean to do that. But, so, the big moving day arrives, and my girlfriend's mom, she used to be a trucker back in the day. She used to, like, have a 18-wheeler and all that. It was pretty badass, honestly, but she, you know, rented out a moving truck from wherever so we could get all the big stuff. Like, I have a mini fridge and my mattress and box spring and all that. Basically, all of the stuff, like, definitely would not fit in a car, no matter how much you tried. We just got a big, like... It wasn't a U-Haul, but it was something similar. It was a little bit bigger than a U-Haul. It was a decently sized truck, and she pulls that in, and I'm like, okay, here we go. So now I'm going out into the living room.
Because also, they were like, oh, like, what are you doing with these boxes? And I'm just like, oh, like, you know, I'm just decluttering.
Yeah, just getting some stuff out of the room, you know. And it's funny, because at first I think they were actually happy about that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, good.
Because especially when I was taking my Monopolies. Yeah,
I think they were very much happy. I mean, I still think they're happy about all the space they got from it, but... So... I'm like, okay, here we go. So I go out there, and... I start getting the stuff out of the living room, because this was like the final boss moment. I'm like, getting all my stuff out of the living room. We're about to start moving all of the big stuff out. My parents are none the wiser, because we didn't dare telling them after how they reacted after I tried leaving my job at Giant Eagle. Like, who knows how they're going to react now? So it wasn't necessarily out of like, oh, I hate you guys, screw you. It was more so like, you know, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what kind of atomic bomb this is going to set off? And also, they weren't necessarily mad at my sister for moving out, but they were kind of more, like, upset about it, I guess. I don't know how else to say it, like... They were mad, but also upset. Like, they acted like she was a traitor for moving out. And it's like, so you want her to live with you guys for the rest of your lives?
Yes, because it was another source of income.
Possibly, yes, but... It seemed kind of backwards after, like, all the tension they had. Either way, that's not my business to talk about. But what is my business, though, is my mom was oddly silent during this whole thing, and my dad was actually trying to be pretty helpful and help move stuff, which it fits both of their characteristics. I mean, like, my dad, he's a good guy. I don't have any harsh feelings, really, about my dad. I'm not going to say he's a perfect guy or anything, but, like, overall, I'd say, like, he's not the worst of it. It's more so, like, I don't really get along with my mom, like I said earlier. And so we are, we're moving our stuff out. And why have I not been using the Goron mask this entire time?
They're boomers.
Yeah, they're boomers, actually, not Gen Xers. But you're not too far off. But, yeah, like I said, my dad... He's a cool guy, so, like, overall, I like my dad. He's not perfect, but, like I said, my mom is who I have a lot of problems with, and, she was oddly silent while I'm moving everything out, and so it's like, whatever. And so, you know, we get over to my girlfriend's house, and the other big thing is, and I don't mean to out you here, but
It's okay.
her room was very much like a huge mess. I don't want to say like a hoarder's room, but it was pretty bad. I mean, we both love collecting stuff, so obviously you get two collectors together. Of course you're not going to have any room for anything. I mean, that's a given. So the first thing was cleaning out her room, and meanwhile, when we were at my house, packing up stuff in my house. So it was kind of like... It was kind of getting two rooms ready at the same time for a move-in, which was a hell of a lot of work. We even got a bunch of help from our friends, so shout out to them.
Shout out.
Huge shout out to them. I mean, I definitely don't think we could have done it by ourselves. I mean, we could have done it by ourselves, but it would have taken, like, probably an extra 2-3 months without all their help. Like, genuinely, everybody helped so much when it came to cleaning up her room and just helping us move boxes back and forth. Like, it was a huge job, and everybody was so nice. So shout out to everybody that helped with that. Seriously, that was insane. In a good way. Now, we have a ton of stuff to put away here. You know, we're still... This is like day one of moving. We got a lot of stuff in the house. We're moving a lot of stuff out of the house. A whole lot's going on. And so we're all taking a break. And we sit on these chairs outside that Haley's mom has. And we're just chilling. And there's a Facebook post made by my mother.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
And
Thinking about it.
She went on to say about how I am, quote, pussy whipped. And how, like, it was so selfish of me to move out without telling them or whatever, and how I'm such a bad son and I'm so selfish all the time. And mind you, like I said, I would like to think I'm a fairly nice guy. I was always helping them with chores. Anytime they would ask for help, I would drop whatever I was doing and help them and would not question it. Boomer, even worse. But no, genuinely, like, I'm not trying to do the whole, oh, I'm such a nice guy spiel here, but I would like to think I'm a pretty nice dude, and I would always help them anytime they needed it, even if it was something completely bullshit and stupid. 100% it was crazy. I would always help as much as I could. And like I said, they said, like, oh, you know... Well, they were just... My mom was saying, basically, that I was pussy whipped by my girlfriend, which... To an extent...
I took control of you.
Yeah. To an extent, I can sort of understand what she means, because, funnily enough, a fair amount of people think, like, oh, Haley controls me or something, and I'm like, if they only saw behind the scenes, and, like, all the times that I've told her no, or been like, fuck out, meow, fuck out the way, you know, like, I'm very much my own person.
He abuses me! He doesn't.
Yeah, exactly, no. No, but genuinely, all jokes aside.
I'm safe at home. I do not want to hurt myself. The government's listening.
Meow, fuck out the way.
Meow, fuck out the way.
But yeah, so, you know, like I said, we move out. I love that quote. I know, it's so good. So like I said, you know, we see a Facebook post. She's calling me pussy whip. She's saying I'm an awful son. How, you know, I'm totally whatever with her. Climb up as deity. Can you use deity? I thought it wasn't allowed to be used. No, unfortunately. But I can do the bomb jump, though. Bomb jumping? Publicly shaming you on Facebook is another level of No, exactly. I think that was what pissed me off the most. I'm like, it would have been one thing if she at least had the decency to call me and tell me to my face. Well, not to my face, but like, at least call me and be like, hey, you're an awful son, I hate you. Or something, you know, like, you're pussy whipped. Whatever you want to say. Like, that would have been one thing. I could have at least had some respect for that. But the publicly shaming... And not to mention, too, I was incredibly embarrassed after this, too. Like, I had to be, like, straight beat red in the face. Because not only am I beat red because I'm pissed the fuck off, I'm also beat red because now I'm embarrassed because everybody that they have on Facebook now thinks I'm the worst son in the world and how I'm, like, such an awful person. And so, of course, I went in my notes app and I made a response thing plan, which I was only going to post if she kept posting about it, which she didn't, which I'm a little bit... I'm both happy and sad that she didn't. Like, I'm happy I didn't have to deal with any more BS from her, but at the same time, I'm a little bit sad because I had, like, this crazy killer, like, I was gonna go off and say every bad thing she's ever done. Which, not to be that guy, but I feel like it kind of outweighs the bad things that I've done. But I was gonna go crazy. I'm like, you know what? You want to bring this on a public level? I'll bring it on a public level. I'll bring everything of yours on a public level. And then I would be the asshole. My parents would be screaming at me to take it down. And then I wouldn't. Until she takes hers down. But either way, though. No, it was bad. And, me and my girlfriend were like... We were both so pissed about this. And we're like... I guess I gotta say shout out to her mom for, like, talking us out of posting about it, because we definitely could have gone off and, like, said some crazy shit. But we didn't. We actually held back for once. I will say one thing, there was a lot of mold in my room, which they kind of blamed on my parents, which, in all honesty, like, I am a grown adult, like, I could have taken care of the mold, and my dad even told me several times, like, oh, hey, we just need you to move your bed and, like, that big dresser, and, like, we can take care of the mold together. And so I do agree that, okay, they were on the side of my parents should have taken care of the mold, but at the same time, it's like, it's my room. I probably should have, in my opinion, I feel. I don't know. Either way, though. Also, okay, sorry, kind of off topic here, but on topic. Also, when I was working at Giant Eagle one of the days, when my mom just felt like pissing me off for some reason, I wasn't really paying rent a whole lot. I'll be honest, I wasn't perfect about paying rent either. So I'm not gonna lie, maybe I wasn't perfect about that, and that's fine. I'm willing to admit that. But, she had told me that she was gonna change rent from $200 a month to $300 a month, because now...
No, it was 400.
No, it was 300. Either way, she was saying that she was gonna change it from $200 a month to 300. And meanwhile, at Giant Eagle, I was making like $1, maybe $2 over minimum wage, so like 11 or 12 bucks an hour. And it was not a ton of money, and especially like her saying that, like, that was like 1.5 paychecks of mine, and I'm like, I already can't afford rent as it is. And then she wants to up it. I'm like, oh my god. Now, realistically, I think if I truly fully locked in, I probably could have afforded it. But I don't know. Just another one of those things that bugged me a fair bit about that. I was like, girl, I'm already not paying rent and you want me to pay more? Like, what? Either way, though. Trying to think what else here. But yeah, so, like I said, we ended up moving out, and it was pretty messy. But then things got better, I guess. And my mom ended up retiring from that Giant Eagle job I was talking about. And so she retired from it, and then she's like... it's a retirement party, so of course she's drinking a bunch. And she, like, comes over and hugs me while crying, and she's like, I really wish you didn't move out. And it really took everything in me to just not say, it's because of you. Like, straight up, it's because of you. Like, truly, like, even despite all of my dad's flaws, like, I could have definitely continued living with him. That was not an issue. Like I said, like, overall, he's a good guy, and I know he means well at the end of the day. But it's 100% her. Like, there's times where I genuinely feel bad for my dad that he has to live with her. And I think, not to out them here, but I think one time he was straight up like, he or she, or maybe even both of them said it, I don't know, one of them was just like, if we weren't close to the ends of our lives, we'd probably be divorced. And it's like, oh yeah. It's like one of those things where it's like, they're both definitely not too happy together, but also they're just like, I mean, let's just stick it out at this point. Which, I mean, I guess is understandable, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, don't force it. Like, the kids are grown up and moved out, you know. I don't know. But, either way. Yeah, no, it was, like I said, it was a really messy move out. I definitely did not anticipate moving out to be like that. But
we did do it in a month.
yeah, I will say, she was right. We were able to get it done in a month, which I truly didn't expect, but she was right. Now, admittedly, it did take us, like, up until, like, last year to, like, fully get moved in and have everything, like, truly unpacked and, like, know where everything is. I mean, even still, I don't think we know where everything is. Hey, what's up, Silent Soul? No, I was saying when we moved out from my house, my parents' house, into my girlfriend's house. I was just telling that story. Yeah, no, we're not, like, moved out. Like, our job definitely does not pay us enough right now to even think about moving out, unfortunately. But I'm not saying that, like, the living conditions here are bad or anything. I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things where, like, when you get old enough, like, you want to move out, you know, like that. I know it all too well. I was moving the van. Oh. Where's the blue snowball mic? I actually have it right next to where I keep my blue Yeti mic that I currently use for streaming. Because I was always thinking, I was like, you know, oh, what if we play a game that needs 2 mics or something? You know, I don't know. If y'all want to bunker up in my fancy 3-bedroom apartment, we could split up rent 4 ways. That would be cool. Right now, I just think we need better jobs. But I would definitely not be opposed. I mean, I feel like we would be good roommates. I would like to think. And I appreciate the offer. It's just like I said, right now, we aren't making jack shit money-wise. We desperately need new jobs, so that's the biggest thing holding us back at the moment. I'm happy for you and Haley. Oh, thank you. No, yeah, overall, I'd say you'd have to get better jobs. It's out in Stowe. Yeah, driving an hour every day would not be too ideal. Ah, crap. I'm at the old key predicament here. For a truck artist kit, yeah. No, for sure. Drugstore pay and having to drive an hour every day out to work is not ideal. I mean, I'm sure we could, like, transfer, but also, at that point, just get a better job. Also, because we really like the people at our current drugstore, where it's like, that's a lot of the reason why we still stay, is like all of our coworkers are really cool. And they're genuinely like fun to work with. Me and X are trying to move in together too in California, but crazy on rent. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. No, yeah, it's
The
everywhere.
rent out there is like $2 million a month for
yeah,
a
like
1-bedroom apartment.
I know it's a crazy ask, but I feel like I don't want to say that you guys should get out of California, but I do feel like you should, like, find somewhere cheaper. I mean, if you guys want to stay in Cali, that's fine. You know, I'm just saying, like, just with what I've heard about, like, what X has said about, like, minimum wage and stuff, and, like, how it's, like, barely enough to afford anything. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, I think when he said it, it was like 18 or 19 bucks an hour, which right now is my ideal goal wage. Like, I would love to be making that, because over here, that would be like a ton. Out here, that would be like enough to make a living out of, just about. Cali's insane. You should get out of Cali. Move to Ohio. Let's all share an apartment. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's just all move in together, everybody.
Compound.
Yeah. It's more like it's hard to move out of state, too, so we don't know what to... No, that's fair. Because then you have to get either a moving company or a U-Haul, and that's going to be expensive. That's going to be what's going to screw you. Well, honestly, I don't think the U-Haul will be that bad, but it's more so like if you get a moving company and you ask them like, hey, can you move me out of state? They're probably going to charge you a fortune for that. Every linked out viewer in a one-bedroom shithole in East Cleveland. That would be insane. You know, once you get past the gunshots, it's honestly not so bad. You know, once you remember to wear your bulletproof vest, honestly, it's not that bad. But no, I mean, I think we would be good true roommates too. I'm just a clean freak. No, I'm the same. I'm a clean freak too. Haley is not a clean freak, but I'm used to picking up after her at this point, so, you know. Sorry, I'm just telling it like it is.
Whatever.
Respectfully, I'm like, I do pick up after her, so, like, I'm sure it would be alright. I think my biggest thing that I would probably be picky about with roommates is, like, I'm really, really autistic about sleep to the point where it's like I need complete and utter silence and, like, darkness. I have gotten to the point where it's like I have an eye mask so I can get past the darkness thing. It's more so sound that gets me. Like, even if I have on white noises, like, in my, like, my face mask thing, like, even that, it's still, like, eh. He just said garbage girly. Bro, just wear sleep headphones. That's a thing I do. It's like a sleep mask and a sleep headphone all in one. Because that's my other thing is, like, I'm so particular with my sleep where it's like I don't have... Oh my god. That's my thing is, like, it can't be too uncomfortable. Bro's wearing a whole motorcycle helmet? No. No, it's like, it's an eye mask, but it has little speakers on the side. If there could be a way where they were, like, noise canceling somehow without, like, feeling any different than they currently, that would be perfect. We're clean freaks too, but Lamau X's Sonic collection is humongous. Dude. That's how I feel about, like, anything Nintendo. It's like, I don't want to say I have a humongous collection, but I definitely have a pretty decently sized Nintendo collection. Sorry, this is going to be hella off topic now, but I got to rant about this super quickly. This is the one and only red switch in the game, not to be confused with the ones that use the Megaton hammer on. This is the one and only red switch in this whole game. And the reason why it's a different color than every other switch is because you can hit it again. Now here's my gripe with it. I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. But here's my gripe. You hit it once to drain the well, so you can go into the well. But now my problem is, you can hit it again to undrain the well and fill it back up with water. There is literally nothing to gain from that. You have to go into the well with no water. So why would you refill the well? It makes no sense. There is no reason for this stupid switch to be here and not just be like the normal yellow switches, or golden switches, whatever you want to call them. There's literally no reason. Oh, you also use a sleep mask with headphones? Dude, no, it's just... Like I said, I mostly got it because she can only sleep with the TV on and loud enough where she can hear it. But I can't deal with sound.
The light from it.
Yeah, and she needs light from the TV. And so it's like the sleep mask, I don't really care about the light. Like I said, the sleep mask has gotten me through that. That's not the issue. It's just sound. I think that would be the only thing that would drive me crazy with, like, roommates is, like, if, like, I keep getting woken up, because then I would just turn into a total dickwad. I mean, like, I'd like to think I could at least be, like, nice and be like, hey, can you please turn it down, but, like, without ripping everybody's heads off. I'll send a pic I upgraded the battery. No fucking way. Honestly, it's kind of worth it, though. I feel like I have to charge mine, like, every other day. I have to charge my sleep. I personally sleep with the SAU Suicide VR helmet, so if I die in my dream, I die IRL. Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page with that. Dude, yeah, no. Like I said, like, overall, mine can last 2 weeks. Holy shit. Like I said, mine dies like every other day, basically. And then it gets worse, too, because if you have it, like, louder, and the battery dies quicker, obviously, but I take drugs to sleep. See, that's my thing, is I've never had a problem with sleeping. It's more so just, like, if something's too loud, then I physically cannot fall asleep. Fent. No, that's my like, I've never had a problem with falling asleep. I guess I've just been lucky with that. I love sleep so much that sleep would never wrong me. But it's just when the conditions aren't right, like sometimes I just genuinely can't. Sound doesn't bother me. I used to sleep with headphones, playing music at full blast. Now, okay, listen, I won't lie. I can do that if I'm, like, wasted. Like, if I'm drunk, I can fall asleep with, like, loud music playing. But I'm also, you know, ideally not trying to be wasted every night. I want to go to sleep. Alright, so I'm going to tell you guys this real quick. I remember one time I was streaming, and I had texted X after the stream. You may or may not remember this, X, but I was playing Ocarina of Time, because that's what I used to, like, pretty much only stream back in the day. And I had suddenly stopped streaming, and, like, I felt kind of bad, because it was, like, it was very sudden, and it was super embarrassing feeling, and it was just, it was not fun. Who's X? XXX Tentashio? No. He's a classic viewer of mine. He's been around. He's one of the OGs. Him, Moon, SLG, and Cheat Freak are, like, the absolute, like, earliest fans I've had. Like, they are the OGs. They are the original homies. But, yeah, so one time I suddenly stopped streaming, and I was playing Ocarina of Time. I was in the Water Temple, and it was a mix of, like, it was really late at night, I was super tired, and, like, my mom was, like, screaming at the TV, and it was, like, it was very embarrassing and very annoying. And I'm, like, I'm in the middle of trying to stream, and I'm, like, I'm worried my mic is picking her up, like, screaming at the TV. I don't know, she gets so into politics. That's why I try not to talk about politics too much on stream, or just in general, like, I understand, like, sometimes bad things are happening, sometimes they need to be talked about, sure, but, like, it gets to a point when it's, like, there's no reason to be screaming at the TV at 3 in the morning about your beliefs. Like, the TV can't hear you. That sounds like my parents. I'm so sorry, X. Knew each other before the big COVID. Yeah, no. That was classic. Oh, my cap's on. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Can you believe it's 1 year, AK after Kirk? That is a crazy dating system. But no, genuinely, that just, like, I was like, I understand, like, there are times when politics does truly need to be talked about, and, like, things need fixed. You can't just ignore problems forever. I get that. But, like, it gets to a point when it's like, why are you screaming at the TV? That Biden on the TV can't hear you, trust me. Trump on the TV can't hear you. So why are you screaming? And then there would be times where she'd also clap, but she would also be, like, intoxicated while clapping, so it'd be, like, really, really loud. And there were so many times where I had to, like, yell at her to, like, shut up. Like, the first couple times, like, I was pretty nice about it, and then it got to the point where I'd just be like, can you shut up? Kirk equals keeping it real, kid. Well, this chat's going in a crazy direction right now. No, but yeah, I think that's also partially why I'm so, like, I need silence, because I'm, like, I had to deal with her screaming at the TV so much that I value quiet so much. I mean, I always value quiet, but, like, especially so when I'm trying to sleep. We hear Charlie Kirk starts playing. But no, yeah, I just remember the one time she was like literally screaming at the TV. And she's also like heavily intoxicated and clapping and stuff. And it's like 2 or 3 in the morning and I'm streaming. And I'm like, dude, she is like I'm like halfway convinced that like everybody in the stream can hear it. I don't even know if that stream is still up anymore, because I did delete a bunch of my old streams. Not because of that, but just because I felt like my YouTube channel was getting too cluttered. I still regret that to this day. There were so many good streams that got deleted in that. I'm so mad at myself. But either way, yeah, like I said, I don't even know if that stream is still up, or even if you could hear her, but I just remember... Oh, you don't remember this? No, okay, that's good. I feel like that's a good thing, honestly. Like, I'd rather you not remember that. I just remember, like, it was so embarrassing, and I was just like, I hate you so much right now. I didn't hear anything, TV. Okay. Well, I guess that is good to know, at least. I just remember it was really late at night, and I was in the water temple, and she just started screaming, and I was like, oh my god. Here we go. There's just like, there's so many things that I'm glad that I moved out for, and just that is one of the big ones. Like, it was like that and being concerned about both my parents' health constantly. Not to say that, like, oh, I don't care about their health, but like, my dad had genuine heart problems, and that's understandable. But it was also, like, really stressful being around that all the time. Like, oh, I'm having chest pains, like, every day. It's like, dude. I missed a chest somewhere, I forgot where. I think it's in the garden. I'll do a mega flip to get there. I had no idea your living situation sucks so bad. I'm glad you guys found some... Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I got a the twisty room, that's right. But yeah, no, it was just like every day there was something where it was like I said, my dad wasn't the worst. I mean, there'd be times where he could be in a mood and he would be like really annoying. But like I said, at the end of the day, that was something that like I feel like everybody would do. Like anybody would do that, and that's understandable. I mean, there were times where he'd take it a little too far, but I'm not gonna like hold that over his head or whatever. It's just like I said, like my mom would go like insane and just like, oh my god. It stressed me out so bad. I always thought your mom was a nice one. See, that's the problem, is that she tricked everybody. Like, she would put on, like, this, like, nice face, and then it's, like, behind closed doors, she, like... You guys didn't hear this from me, but she was literally constantly drinking, and, like... She never... I want to make it clear, she never, like, physically abused me or my sister. Like, it was never, like, that bad. Like, I always think, like... I'm always thankful for the fact that, like, she could have been a lot worse, but it was more, like... manipulative, narcissist... She was a narcissist, manipulative, and guilt tripper, yeah. And like that was the worst part, is like she could play that she was such a nice person, and like she had everybody fooled. Like everybody would always be like, your mom's so nice, she's so nice. And it's like, dude, if only you knew. I remember one of the things that made me the most angry with her drinking was, like, she would get to the point where, like, she wouldn't, like, if we needed to go anywhere, like, anywhere, she would be like, she wouldn't care. Okay, sorry, I can't talk. If we had to go anywhere, she would get to the point where like she would still drink anyways, and then we'd be like, are you still taking me to the doctors that I needed to go to? Something's, you know, hurting or whatever. And she'd be like, oh no, get Dad to take you. And then it's like, sometimes it's like, my dad used to work third shift. He doesn't anymore, but he used to back when he did work. And, oh, I gotta turn it. But yeah, he used to work third shift. And so it's like, I have to poke the sleeping bear, you know? I have to get him up and hope that he's gonna take me to this appointment. And there was one time where my sister had come home with my mom, and while they were out, my mom bought another bottle of whatever vodka she usually liked to drink. And my sister was pissed because she had an actually really important doctor's appointment she had made months in advance, and my mom was the only way she was going to get there because I was too young to drive at that point. I don't remember. My dad, like, he had moved out of state for a little while because of his job. So I think he was out. I couldn't drive. I was way too young. And my sister didn't drive. So she really needed my mom to take her. And like I said, it was an important doctor's appointment. She had it planned for months. And my mom bought a bottle of alcohol. And she's like, oh, hell no. So she hid it in my closet. And like, meanwhile, it was kind of funny. Low-key. Uber, yeah, I guess Uber is an option. I don't even know if she had a job at that point. Wait, she might have still been in school. And also, I don't know if our parents would want her to do that, but I don't know. I guess that's on them, though. Well, more so my mom, but yeah, so I'm in the middle of trying to take a nap. Like, I'm after school. I always took an after-school nap. That's just how I was. Like, I'm over here. I would go to bed at, like, 2 or 3 in the morning, get up at 6 in the morning, barely make it through the day, come home, do homework, go to sleep, and wake up and actually have fun. That was my usual schedule with school, and I think that's why I hated school so much. But, yeah, no, it was bad. And, so like I said, the one day she comes home with a bottle of vodka that she liked. And my sister's like, no, I have this really important appointment. Like, you cannot be doing this. And she's like, oh, well, I wasn't going to drink too much. That's what they always say. And, I mean, me and her knew better at that point. We both knew better that she was going to do too much. And so we, like I said, she comes in my room. My sister comes in my room. And she hides the bottle of vodka in my closet. And what was it? I'm trying to remember. Like, my sister runs in, she doesn't knock, which was weird for her. Like I said, I'm in the middle of trying to take a nap here. So she runs in, doesn't even knock. You know, like, I could have been doing anything. I could have been doing gross stuff. But she just ran and threw it in the closet and then ran around. And I'm like, that was weird. And then my mom comes in and she's like, where did she go? And I was like, what? And like, as I'm waking up, I'm like starting to piece together what's happening. I'm like, oh, she's trying to hide it from her. And so I was like, who? Like, my sister? And then she's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know. She went out that way. And she's like, where'd she put it? And then I went, put what? Because at this point, I already knew what she was talking about, but I wanted her to say it. You know, I'm like, go on. Go on then, say it. And so she's like, my thing. And I was like, what thing? And she was getting mad. But at the same time, I could have always just played it off. Well, I just woke up. I don't know what's going on. I knew what was going on, though. She was like, yeah, where's my thing? And I was like, I don't know what your thing is. And so she hid it in my closet. And then it got down to a talk where my mom and sister were like, dude, like, I have this important appointment. I cannot afford you to, like, not take me to this tomorrow because you're hungover or something, you know, like, it's not an option. And so I started, that eventually kind of created a trend of me, I would pour out my mom's drinks if something important was happening, or if she really, like, started to piss me off and she was being too loud, I'd just pour out her drinks because, like, I don't care. And then she started, like, we had, like, a chore list, And, you know, it's like each chore was worth a certain amount of money. It was a nice system. But it got to a point where she started, like, literally taking money off the list when I would pour out her stuff. And then I got to a point where I didn't give a fuck at all. I would just put the money back on. I'd be like, plus, stop drinking. Be like, plus $8, stop drinking. Oh my god. See, that's another thing I can laugh about now because I don't have to deal with it anymore. But like, oh my god, it was so funny. It was like, it was the equivalent of L plus ratio. Bro, I'm dead. No, seriously, it got to a point where it was so unbelievably funny. Like, I'd be giggling to myself as I was doing it. I'd be...
Wait till she sees this.
And the thing is, too, I was waiting for her to, like, come out yelling at me or something. She never acknowledged it. If you pour, it means you care. No, exactly. Because that was the other thing, is I was like, I was trying to help. I mean, it might not have been the best way, but I was trying to. Nope. I guess we're going up. No, because that's the thing, is like, me and my sister and my dad, we all tried, like, any way we could. Like, we tried being nice, we tried yelling at her, we tried sitting her down and having emotional talks and stuff like that, and like, every time her reason for drinking would change, and every time she was always the victim, or something was going on with her, and it was like, it was just bad. Are you going to sleep? Alright, good night, sir. I appreciate you keeping the string. I promise you do not have to do that. I mean, if you want to, that's fine, but like, you do not have to. I don't care about views that much. I don't really get anything for views, unfortunately. I appreciate the thought, though, at least. But yeah, no, it was just... Like I said, like, it would get to a point where it's like, I would pour it out, like, before important things that we would have, because I'd be like, oh, hell no, you're not weaseling your way out of this one. But like I said, even if she just really pissed me off, I would do it, because I knew it would piss her off. The ultimate ponage.
Didn't I do it one time?
I think you did, yeah. I remember the one time... this was one of the things that really pissed me off. So, I was talking about how my dad goes to the hospital a lot, and...
Oh my god, is it this story?
Yeah. And so... she's, you know, out screaming...
Lock in, viewers.
Yeah, lock in. No, so she's screaming at the TV as usual. My dad's in the hospital. He didn't even bother, like, waking us up for some reason. He's in the hospital, and... my mom is, like, passed out on the couch. Or, like, half awake, you know. And... so he just ended up driving himself to the hospital, which at that point I could drive, so I don't know why he didn't ask me straight up.
He was like, oh, I didn't want to bother you guys. It's like, bro.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't want to bother you guys, and it's like, you're having a heart attack. And it's, well, yeah, but you guys are sleeping. And it's like, okay, that's one of those things where it doesn't matter. So, he couldn't trust my mom to drive him for obvious reasons. And I guess he just didn't want to bug us for some reason. So, you know, we go on our way up to the hospital, and my mom wakes up and asks, hey, where are you guys going? And then that's when we're just like, to the hospital? Because he's in the hospital? And she's like, what? And then did you go off on her? Or, I don't even remember exactly how it started.
So, she wakes up from her drunken state, and we're, you know, about to walk out the door, and she asks, say, where are you going? And then they say, to the hospital. Why are you guys going to the hospital? And we're like, to go see Dad. And then she literally asked, like, Dad's in the hospital?
Yeah, and it's like, you didn't even know, or like you couldn't have pieced it together by now?
And then you said, yeah, Dad's in the hospital. He had a heart attack, or he's having the, you know...
chest pains or whatever.
Chest pains. And she was just like, oh. And then I just got really mad, and I was just like, what did I even say? How did it started?
Yeah, I don't remember how it started, but it eventually got to the point where she was like, well, I actually care about him, unlike you, obviously.
Yeah.
And then my mom.
No, you don't care. And it's like, well, you don't even know your husband is in the hospital.
Yeah, like, I think it's fairly clear to see who cares more. And it's also crazy because even if you want to say like, oh well, maybe they don't love each other or whatever, I don't know. Like, at the very least, do you not care that like your own husband is in the hospital right now? Like, you don't even like kind of care. And then she proceeded to I don't remember if it was after we came home or when we were still getting ready to leave.
It was after we came home.
Oh yeah, and then she started going, Haley bitch, and I was like, are you fucking serious? So I went out there and I started to yell at her. I wasn't even fully yelling, honestly, and then Haley comes out, and that's when she starts yelling.
I was hiding in the kitchen recording it. I was hiding in the kitchen recording it, and then I got so mad I came out, I started yelling, I was like, oh, I'm a bitch, and she was like, yeah, you're a bitch, and I said, why, because I care about your husband more than you do? No, you don't, oh, well, I was the one in the hospital, and you're sitting here drunk.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like, she's straight up trying to, like, say that Haley is a bitch for just straight up saying the facts, like, get over it, dude. I do something similar, actually. My mom is a pre-diabetic, and whenever she buys cookies or ice cream or any other junk food, I eat most of it or all of it. Well, that's one way. I mean, don't hurt yourself in the process, SLG, but I appreciate the, what's it called? Not motivation, but you know what I mean.
The idea.
The incentive, yeah. Oh my god, now he wants in, dude. But yeah, no, like I said, I mean, it got to a point where even my sister, I don't remember if it was me or my sister, but I think it was my sister, she was starting to make jokes like, next time she pisses me off, I'm just gonna put like an AA note like in the bathroom or something. And that was such a good idea, but we never did it. But there was one time when I was genuinely so pissed. Like, I swear I was on the computer like, I could download it. I could download the form right now. I didn't. Maybe a little bit of a regret from that, but you know, I still remember that one of the very first times that I got in trouble. I was in, I want to say like 7th or 8th grade. I don't remember, because I think a big part of it that caused her to start was, like I said, my dad had to move out of state because of his job, and that made it harder on her because she actually had to like deal with me and my sister alone, which understandable, but also I don't think it's an excuse to start drinking. But either way, so she started around that time, like maybe at the earliest 6th grade for me. Like, either way, I was in middle school years, like anywhere from 6th to 8th grade. She started because he was in Kansas, actually, Wichita, Kansas, for his job, but they kind of just ended up screwing him over, and so he sort of was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna make you guys move out here, because we actually thought we were gonna have to move over there, and we were kind of planning for it and dreading it. And my sister even got to graduate early because of it, because we thought we were going to be out in Kansas, and she's like, I don't want to go out to Kansas and have to do my last year of high school all over again. I may as well just see if I can graduate early, and she did. Either way, though, so my dad, he was out in Kansas, basically. And he said it low-key sucked because, like, it was so barren out there, and he's like, he was in, like, I don't want to say a retirement home, but it was like kind of an old folks home, but it's like where he lived at the same time. I don't know, it was weird. But he said they went hard on the Wii bowling there, so that was how he got his fun. But yeah, no, so she started around then, and it got to the point where the one day she's going online and she's looking at her work schedule for Giant Eagle. And this, keep in mind, this was during like Vine era, so like people would often say like, is you whatever, you know, like Like, when they want to ask, like, are you, like, feeling this way or whatever. I don't know. Either way, I jokingly said, because even when I was that young, I started noticing, like, a trend of it. I straight up asked her, I was like, is you drunk? And looking back on it, it's so funny. Because, this is going to sound bad, but she started crying. And I truly thought that she, like, got fired from her job. Because last I saw, she was on the computer, she's looking at her schedule or whatever, and she starts crying. That's how I saw it in my head, and I was like, what? And my dad was visiting, so he came home, like, around that time. And I'm getting up, or no, it was like the next day or something, and it's after school, and I remember specifically I had this project for school with The Giver. It was a book. It's a good book. I do like the book and the movie The Giver, but I had to do this whole thing for that, and I just remember my dad, like, sitting me down and talking to me like, that was really rude what you said to your mom. I was like, what did I say? And he's like, you know what you did. I'm like, I don't. What happened? And I explained. I was like, she was on her work website and she started crying. I don't know why she did. And then he said, like, oh, something you said about her being drunk. I was like, I said, is you drunk? And I just remember, like, he was like, well, it was still wrong and you shouldn't have said it. And that was, like, the first time where I was like, okay. Like, you know, maybe I am a little autistic at times, because maybe I don't fully understand all social cues, you know, undiagnosed, but pretty sure. I don't always understand all the social cues of everything, but that was one of those times where I was like, wait, like, what? Like, I truly didn't understand why I was being yelled at. And not even necessarily I thought it was bullshit. I mean, I did think it was bullshit, but it wasn't even that. It was more so... What? I didn't even know he could go over there. No, but it was just... Now, there is no absolute way that just did that. There's some crazy stuff happening while I'm trying to tell this story. Sorry. I just remember I was so, like, both mad and... It did it again! I swear, I've genuinely never had that happen my entire career of playing this game. I've legit never had that happen. It's crazy that it's happened twice. The bomb going on the rope is what I mean. Like, I've never had that happen. When you throw a bomb at this guy. Special D. But anywho, yeah, so, sorry. I'm getting off topic. Either way. Local Link throws bomb on ropes twice. I know! It was crazy. I've never had that happen. But yeah, so, I remember he was just like, dude, that was messed up. You shouldn't have said that. And I was like, why? Like, I genuinely didn't know what I did wrong. And then I begrudgingly had to tell my mom, I'm sorry I asked, is you drunk? When she got home from work. Like, it was such a bullshit moment. I was like, what? And that was, like I said, that was one of my earliest memories of, like, well, one, like, when I realized, like, oh, this is becoming a pattern, and two, it happened, like, one or two more times where, like, me or my sister, like, did something that, like, made her upset because it had to do with her getting drunk, and somehow that's our problem, that we noticed it. I don't know. All I do know, it was a bunch of BS. And, yeah. But eventually he did kind of start to see it too and realize, and I will say, I feel like one of the closest times that we got with that stuff was, like, there was one time where he got so mad at her that he dumped her bottle, and I was like, I was literally giddy. I was jumping up and down with joy. I was like, he's doing it. I was so happy. Because, like, that to me felt like he's finally on our side, like he's finally understanding. But then I think he did something that gave her the benefit of the doubt immediately after, and I was like, are we fucking for real right now? Or, like, he bought her a replacement bottle or something. I was like, dude. Dude. Either way, though. So yeah, that's a brief summary of my life. It's just, like, the amount of weight off my shoulders is insane. Because another thing, too, this was the worst part, is as she was getting older in her years, like, and this is just gross to talk about, but, like, she would have problems controlling her bladder, and every time she would try and always say, like, oh, I'm not slurring, or she would say, like, I'm not slurring, it's just because I don't have my teeth in, or whatever, because she eventually got dentures at an old enough age. And so she'd be like, I'm not slurring, it's just my dentures aren't in. And then, like I said, she would have problems controlling her bladder, and she'd be like, oh, well, you'll understand when you get older. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm a raging alcoholic. And it would get to the point, like, I remember there was one time where, and this is disgusting to talk about, and I'm sorry that you have to hear this, but she literally left a trail of pee, like, from her chair that she would always sit on to, oh my god. She left a trail of pee from her chair that she sat on into the kitchen and then into the front bathroom. And I think it was because she tried to go, because we had 2 bathrooms in our house. One was connected to my room, so it was kind of like my bathroom. People didn't really use that one a whole lot, just because it was more out of the way. Because usually most of my family would go to the living room. And, like, when you're there, like, the front bathroom is right there, you know. And it was closer to my parents' room. So it was like, I was kind of the only person that used my own bathroom, the back bathroom. But for some reason this day, she tried to go to my bathroom first, realized that door was shut, and then went back around to the front bathroom, like literally all the way around the house, leaving a trail of pee the whole way. And I felt, I don't know how to say it, like I was such a mix of embarrassed, pissed off, and grossed out. Like literally everything. Like it was like my own personal nightmare. Like it was crazy. I don't really know how else to describe that. It was not good. And I just remember my one of my friends, she was in, where was it? I can't think of it right now. It wasn't Vietnam, but why can't I think of it for the life of me right now? I don't remember. She was in, like, a kind of Asian-y country where she's from. I don't know why I can't remember it for the life of me, but she was in a different time zone, and it was, like, 4 in the morning, and I'm sitting in the living room, like, looking at this pee trail. Oh, it was mostly on the carpet, by the way. The only thing that was hard floor was, like, the kitchen. It was, like, from the kitchen to the back bathroom was all tile, but everything else was all carpet. And like I said, I'm, like, staring at this, like, oh my god. And I'm, like, texting my friend, because she's in a different time zone. I'm, like, actually up late enough where, like, I could text her. And I'm just, like, I don't even remember, I don't think I told her what had happened, but I just remember, like, talking with her to try and, like, ease my conscience anyway. Like, it was insane. I don't even remember how I cleaned it all up. I still don't know if I trust those carpets, but I'll tell you one thing, I would not trust her spot on the couch. I remember there were times where she'd, like, offer me or my girlfriend her spot on the couch. Like, we go out there, it's like, oh, hell no, hell no.
Hell no, hell no. I know what's been on that seat.
Yeah, like, I don't want to go on that seat. No, thank you. And then we eventually did get new couches, but even still, I still wouldn't trust her spot. But anyways, all this to say,
your spot.
I was not exactly a fan of her for a couple reasons, as you might imagine. What? Oh, hell no. No, exactly. Alright, but it is getting late. I probably should stop streaming. I had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed my stories. I actually got a shit ton of views on this live stream. I wonder if...
You got a trauma dump.
Yeah, it was the trauma dump live stream. No, but, like, I put a bunch of question marks and exclamation points because I was like, oh, let's see if this works, and apparently it got a lot of views. So I guess there was that. I did that more as a joke. I thought it would be funny. But then I was also like, well, if it brings in more people, you know, why not? It was epic, awesome, and cool. Okay, good. The stories, okay, cool. You know, I want you guys to know, like, I'm not, like, forever traumatized. Okay, maybe I am a little bit, but, like, I'm not going to, like, what's the word? Like, I'm not going to go, like, cry myself to sleep after this or something. Like, looking, like I said, I can look back on these stories and laugh now because of how ridiculous they are and, like, how insane it is. And, like, I've talked to enough people about these things where I'm like, I know, like, I'm not the crazy person in these scenarios. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I've definitely made a lot of mistakes. And sure, I'll be honest, maybe I did drive her to drink a couple times. I know it's a bad thing to say, but maybe, you know, I was a pretty shitty kid. So I could understand that. But at the same time, though, she was definitely pulling reasons out of her ass to drink. Either way, sorry. I guess I will also say really quick, I don't know if you guys watch Stranger Things at all. I promise I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I've been watching Stranger Things. It's one of those shows I never thought I would get into. I started watching season 1 with my girlfriend, and after the second episode, I just couldn't do it. But then we started watching it again because the ending of the show just happened, and I was quite liking the ending of the show and like how it was going and everything, and so we went back, and it's been fun. I
wanted you to get into it for years now, and now he's finally getting into it.
Yeah, when the show is ending. The ending was booty cheeks. We watched the last episode in theaters. That's actually pretty cool.
Oh, you guys saw it in theaters? It sold out really quick around here.
I didn't even know it was an option.
Yeah.
Like, I saw somebody post it on their story.
They announced it, and then the tickets went up for sale, and then like an hour later, they were gone.
I have mixed feelings about the ending because, and I won't say any specifics for anybody who hasn't seen it, but like, I thought it was okay, but I did think there were some bullshit things in it. I don't know. We had to watch it hella late because the other times were sold out. That makes sense. Like I said, I think for the most part, I genuinely mostly enjoyed it, but I can understand, I'm not going to say it was flawless. There were definitely a lot of flaws. And I can see why a lot of people don't like it. But either way, yeah, so I've been watching it 4 out of 10. No, that's fair. I can understand that. But yeah, so right now I'm on season 4, episode 4. And then, what is it? There's 5 seasons with 8 episodes?
It literally goes like 8, 9, 8, 9. No, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, 8, because this one ends on an 8.
Well, either way, I was just trying to say, I'm on season 4, episode 4, and I think it only goes up to season 5, episode 8. So, not too far off, not too far off. I need my Murray epilogue.
Yes.
Yeah, Loki, they did not, like, say anything about him, I feel like.
Where is Murray? Mm-hmm.
He's just doing his own things. Mm-hmm. As always. Well, anyways, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to end this stream now, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been having fun watching Stranger Things, and I did not use these masks nearly as much as I thought that I would. I mean, Goron mask is great for zooming around. I'm sure Zoro mask will be awesome for Water Temple. Fierce Deity has been insane for boss fights. But either way, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was nice to see you guys again, X and Moon. I know you guys don't pop into a lot of streams, so I appreciate you coming here. But yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next stream. Thank you all for watching. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.